Folks, welcome. The Redacre Wrestling podcast has finally moved on to one of the most successful and beloved eras in professional wrestling, the Attitude Era. Now, bringing the Attitude this evening with me, to my left, is Declan Maguire. You'll know him from our play-by-play videos. Decky.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me.
Circling round right in front of me, I've got Connor Maguire. They're not related as far as we're aware. Connor.
Hello.
Nice hat. To next, I've got the Mark Deader.
What's happening?
John, how you doing? And then finally, I have the messy doodle man himself, Niall Connell.
What about you?
Folks, Attitude Era, you know, one of the most talked about and respected eras in professional wrestling, and one that we would have started. That would have been the big point for me personally getting into it. So what we're going to do, folks, in this podcast, we've highlighted our top 3 themes, with honourable mentions, our top 3 matches with honourable mentions, and our top 3 wrestlers. Now, not wrestlers that you would traditionally associate with being the best at the time of the Attitude Era, but ones that personally we love from that era. Right, guys, let's get going.
What have you got for me?
Right, I'll start. For themes, that's going to be the first topic. I have Chase Manhattan by the Hardy Boys.
Any particular order?
No particular order. This is just 3 themes. Chase Manhattan, the Hardy Boys.
Nice choice.
You've heard recently
definitely a good choice.
at WrestleMania there when they came back and the pop, and just as soon as you hear that drum beat and the speed,
still holds up. To
it still holds up, John.
Headphones on.
Sounds like they've added a wee bit though. No, some people are saying like it feels a wee bit more.
It's a different version of it.
Isn't it?
It's different version, similar to Big Show and Rock, that they always had the same bass to their entrance music, but it had changed maybe guitar wise or tempo wise. So yeah, Chase Manhattan by the Hardy Boys, fantastic. As John said, it brings back memories of Team Extreme
Timeless.
times, the old Hardy
Very true.
Boys before, you know. Not that they're any different now.
The
They're
Doc
still,
Hendricks version.
the Doc Hendricks one.
The new brood.
Is it called Loaded?
That original thing they had, yeah, because we've
was-
always found one called Loaded.
Was that the one from the really old?
That was a Dan, that fucking one.
No, that the
I
one
heard
after
that in
that.
Top Gear once as well. That
Yeah.
tune. And Bob Holly's tune somewhere.
Top Gear for
for
Bob
Gear
Holly,
as well.
well, brilliant. Slow down.
Crash Hollies was featured in the American special of Top Gear. Next one up, guys, for me was Taz.
Number 2.
Now the title of this I found is just called 13. I remember watching. I was talking to John before we started recording. Taz's debut was against Kurt Angle, and just hearing that and seeing him coming out, and Taz was well put together. Like, he was maybe short, but he was no small man. His entrance music, every time I hear it, watching the old videos, I'm just like, you know someone's in to get you. He was the original Suplex Machine
Orange as fuck.
before Brock Lesnar came in.
Des O'Connor.
Des O'Connor.
He debuted it.
Des O'Connor. And lastly, Kurt Angle's metal theme. Not originally his, it was the Patriot Del Wilkes had metal, but Kurt Angle got a retuned
Was it stock
version
music
of
as
it.
well or something?
It's just
like
it's-
Goldberg's was stock
yeah.
music, wasn't it?
It's a typical
got a good thing
it's
with that,
a
wasn't
2-beat army march.
Goldberg's theme. was
Goldberg's
stock
theme is
music.
just traditional army march, but
Beefed.
so of Hardy Boys, Chase Manhattan, Taz 13, and Kurt Angle's metal.
What about your honourable mentions?
Honourable mentions, I have Cactus Jack.
Awesome.
I've
yes.
Cactus Jack because it suits, it's badass, and he was portrayed as from Truth or
His
Consequences.
WCW theme was pretty cool as well, actually.
I have Vince McMahon's No Chance in Hell.
You ever hear
Now-
the Theory of the Dead Man? Is a Theory of Theory of the Dead. Theory of the Dead
Theory of
Man.
the Dead
Sorry,
Man, yeah.
Threw the dead in there for some reason. But they did a version of No Chance in Hell. Did you
Yeah.
hear that?
No.
Not as good as the original.
Or the rap
you know.
version.
Well, that was my.
Or the corporate
I
ministry
wanted to
version?
throw in Too Cool,
I like that
but are they the Attitude Era?
Yeah.
Yeah, we give Too Cool the Attitude.
Yeah.
Which one though?
Yeah.
In your
Is it-
heart, and that one there.
You look fly today.
Yeah, that was because, as John said, as soon as you hear it, you can picture Scotty, Grandmaster, and Rikishi.
I guarantee you, right? See if you talk to somebody who does not watch wrestling now, that did watch it while growing up, watching the Attitude Era. If you play that, they will instantly know that's Too Cool.
Yeah, it's one.
Or they get it mixed up with Sonic the Hedgehog. So they think it's either wrestling or it's Sonic, because it does sound like a Sonic tune.
Is it? Ah.
You ever listen
Sounds
to
like a Sonic
think
tune?
about Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh,
Right, lads, right, everybody away to play Sonic then. Daki, what's your top 3 entrance music?
Right. Interested in hearing your picks because I think some of them have flagged up on mine, but we'll give it a go. No, it's great. Okay, so let me get the right page together. I've got a lot. I've got
While
so
we're young.
many. I've got so many honorable mentions. It's crazy. Okay, so
Find it.
okay, I'll go from
Just no
number
particular
3, and then we'll go up. So I've already picked the Hardy Boys as my.
order. Jason Hat, same as
It's
mine.
it's actually put down as loaded. It's the one that I particularly like. So is there
Actually,
Actually, it is
actually?
your opinion, Dacky. It's wrong, but it's your opinion.
Do you know what? I'm never wrong. So yeah, it's recognizable. I wouldn't say these picks were my favorite at the time. It's on reflection today, what I look back at and go, you know what, the Hardy, that thing in particular.
Makes you pumped, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That sort of, especially
Use watch
WrestleMania this year,
Wrestle. It's just by saying WrestleMania this year. We had it. We had Jenny and all here in the studio, and Peppa as well sitting in the
Yeah.
background.
We shout out to Peppa
But
and Jenny.
we sat there with Jenny. It was me, John, Jenny, and Niall sitting there. And I was just pumping, sitting downstairs, waiting for that fucking tune to hit. It was class.
John and Jenny with J&J Security.
I've also
respect. You better recognize.
recognized this. I've also got McMahon's thing, No Chance in Hell. Yeah,
See,
which
oh,
actually.
nice.
No, Jesus, working on
Yeah.
pop.
See, you
No,
both mentioned
he's
that.
not.
I literally
He's-
watched it last night. It's on YouTube. The best entrance ever, and it was the night after Mania. I remember McMahon showed up, and the whole crowd is shouting it by no chance, singing it. McMahon's just smiling. He's trying to hold it back. But
He looked a bit taken back.
Mania 15 or
it was one of the recent ones.
No, it was this year.
Oh, right, right.
Announced Kurt Angle then as the GM. Wasn't it?
yeah.
He pops up his head from the car. It's just
Just the head. innit?
So for a while, McMahon didn't even have entrance music. He just used to walk out
Just had the walk.
and just used to have
That was
like.
enough.
The Blazer.
It was just an
Remember the
abundance of booze, wasn't it? So no, he.
An abundance of booze.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe heat.
So 99 was when he had his. So and my number 1 pick has to be Raw's War theme, which would have got all of us pumped and ready for Raw and for
Still
wrestling.
does.
Went for
I went for Thorn in Your Eye, that version of Raw's theme, and that's from '97. And it's when you look at the promo video for it, it just works. If
it's
you want
actually my alarm tone.
Is
Yeah,
it, yeah?
up in the morning.
Similar.
John gets pumped every morning.
Boston walking through the warehouse.
One of several alarms I have too.
Oh yeah, I mean like
Ring set up, you're like, he's just walking through.
That's what
At
you
the time,
picture,
you're-
yeah.
He's like, what a badass, like, you know.
oh yeah,
Now you're like, it's a fire hazard. You know?
yeah. We limit the amount of pyro we use. Actually, funny enough, we'll go into that later on, off this program about the pyro.
What the pyro bill?
Yeah, off topic. So no, those are my top 3 choices.
That's
Any
good.
honourable mentions that
Oh,
didn't
yes,
really make
sorry,
the top?
yes.
Yeah.
Plenty here. Okay, so some of them were mentioned. Sorry, I did have this on the list, but I took it off. It was the Undertaker's theme, which when he was in the Ministry.
Is that the one on SmackDown, Dacky? The game that is like Undertaker, it's like 99 or 00, and it's just a guitar playing. It's there's one I was trying to describe to Connor. There's Undertaker's Death March, the Gong one, the American Badass, but there's one
had so
on the
many
game,
versions of
Dacky. There's one on the game that's just guitar, and I think it was Connor pointed out it's the Ministry.
It's just
classic,
instrumental.
brilliant thing.
Well, I've picked the Ministry one. There's a couple of different versions, but it's pretty much if you try and find, there's only a handful of them, but like there's a really heavy version of it. It's the one I've picked. Well, it's got Hardcore Holly's theme, which is it's spot
Which
on.
one?
Oh, it's It's not the one.
Slow
How
Death.
do you like me now?
Slow death
Yeah,
then.
it's
Yeah.
It
slow-
says
Chuck
pre
Berry.
that. It's very recognizable.
Theme.
And one of the last ones on this list would be Christians. At last, you're on your own. I thought that's got a
Yeah.
pretty good.
I like the bit when the guitar came in. It went
Yes.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
So I thought there's a couple of honorable mentions.
I like the fact that you picked a program theme and not not a wrestler's theme per se.
Ah.
Like, so I like,
Thinking about doing that for everybody hit on the ground. Is it SmackDown one, the original SmackDown?
Oh yeah,
thing?
the weird one.
Is that what it was called?
Everybody on the
know
ground.
what
That's
it's
actually
called.
what he's saying. Everybody on the ground. Like, but what he says after it, I haven't a clue.
anyone has figured that out
Everybody
yet.
on the ground.
now Connor's wearing his Steven Spielberg hat and he's smiling already. Connor, what do you got? Do tell.
Few of them actually very similar. Funny enough, I always
We're all reading from the same page.
We're all the one person, folks.
you have to understand people as
We've got our
well.
own
This
list.
is me and Declan as well, sitting here talking about this. Me and Declan sitting, growing up together, same kind of similar wrestlers, and so there's bound to be crossovers.
No, my favourite wrestler is Undertaker. You like Kane.
Yeah. Oh, that conversation's come up plenty
pick
times. Plenty times. But
I called Undertaker.
no, as far as this list went, it's funny enough. I have to go from the top basically at this point.
No, you don't.
The number one is the Raw's War theme. I put it down again. Originally,
Convenient.
originally, look, it's there in the notes.
Guys, just hide your notes.
Originally,
Right,
originally, it was in the honorable mentions list and skipped right up to the fucking number one spot.
Right to one.
So it had to be done.
Damn.
Again, the Slam Jam theme with Scotty Innert, Anthrax provide most of the guitar work in it, and
Good shout.
it's just chunky. I think John actually has the Slam Jam single somewhere.
I do, on record.
There you go.
On
Perfect.
record.
There's several different versions. There's the really cheesy 90s version. It was all Razor Ramon, Undertaker, and a few other lads doing backup vocals, and it's horrible. But it's the actual Raw's War theme was number one, definitely, because it's just that whole aesthetic for the show. After that, it's one of Austin's themes, the Glass Shatters.
Disturbed Glass Shatter. Yeah.
Because as soon as you hear that, you're just like, right,
As
fucking
John
great.
said about one of his ones earlier, all I make out is
Yeah.
that's all
enough.
I don't know what he's saying. I'm just like,
Where's Ross with the
yeah, that's it. And you're like,
And what? Fuck's sakes. Right, so that was number 2 on the list. Number 3, John, before we were starting, had picked this one out with me as anyway. Brood.
the Brood.
Something about that Brood theme.
The Brood.
And I checked out a few things about it. There's the voice in it is reversed, and what the voice is saying when you hear it the proper way around is I buried Paul, which reference to the Beatles fucking theory thing about Paul being dead.
I think it's something that actually do with balls, so...
No,
I think-
check it right.
Is it
Yeah,
not
we man-
Gangrel?
no,
Does
the-
Gangrel not say something to do with...
Barry Balls.
No, it's not
Definitely
something... Hurry Balls or something.
Ball barrier.
You're here, but you want to hear.
No, I actually think I've heard Gangrel say it. It's
balls.
actually something like Hurry Balls or something. They were
Well-
messing about and they reversed it or something.
I'll dispute that to the
To
end.
be
but-
continued.
Is it like if you reverse?
Just
Stairway,
don't ruin my
it
fucking
gives you a
vibe
recipe
there.
for really nice soup or something like that.
Hurry Balls.
Right. And to round off that, I had a few honourable mentions. Definitely one of the catchiest ones I always go back on is Mark Mero's theme. Just ridiculous. Great theme for such a ridiculous
As
man.
soon as Sable powerbombed him,
That was
he
it.
lost all
He was
credibility.
done.
That was his career being
He's
powerful.
He's doing a good job nowadays, though.
He's a
You're saying
motivational
he's
speaker, but
and stuff.
he doesn't motivate me.
He's gone viral.
He left. He doesn't. Why motivated by a guy who left? He got pinned by Gilbert.
He
That
keeps
was him.
saying, "Oh, you have to do hard work and you have to try." That's not motivating. If he said, "I
That's
woke up at
pointing the
11 and
obvious.
got a bacon sandwich
Yeah.
and then I won a title," that's motivating.
Right.
Not I had to train for it.
Before Mark Mero fucking sues me over something here for nothing, because I'll get the bill, you won't. Right. Next bit. Again, sorry, Dak. Ministry themes on my list. Of course, I have to fucking share that
Trend
one.
of
We all sound like Chris
Also-
Jericho here. It's on the list!
That's it. That is it.
Also, tied into that is Median's theme, because fucking love that. I think it's one of the riffs. John
You can
probably
play that,
vouch for it.
can't
It's something,
you? You
yeah,
can play
it's
that.
something easy you can pick up when you're just getting ready to play. After that, definitely Val Venus's theme. You can't fucking hate that theme.
Hello, ladies.
I actually bought more bath towels.
Put this
after
right.
that thing.
Hold on. We went. I think John was here as well. We went off to see the wrestling one year in Belfast in the Odyssey, and I swear to God, we marked out.
I
for
met
people
Brian
like,
Kendrick outside.
there you go.
You fucking did.
We marked out for
Jumped
people
the
like
fence.
Val Venus and Goldust, Orton, Triple H, and everyone else. We just can't believe we're fucking seeing these
I
lads.
touched Lillian Garcia.
There you go.
We
Not
just
many
like,
people
we,
can say that.
We just like to put out a disclaimer. It
Yeah.
was all completely normal.
And
She's alright.
no. Best
Pending-
for last.
It's a pending lawsuit.
One of the honourable mentions is definitely Linda McMahon's theme, because that is just a WrestleMania theme.
WrestleMania
forever.
14. That also got
Yep,
WrestleMania 14.
man,
thing.
it's on the list. It's right there, black and white.
Alternative.
So that's
No-
my
no-
top
nobody's gonna
3
see
plus honourable mentions. So
Linda McMahon's is fucking
That
that
was-
man's pumping.
heavy
It
shit.
gets you so happy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Is that the
The
WrestleMania theme?
WrestleMania theme. Anytime WrestleMania's coming up,
Right.
WrestleMania Sunday, first thing in the morning, Linda McMahon's theme song,
Bang.
and you just feel like you're ready for the day. Just saying. It's
Hashtag
right up here.
go
It's got the
Linda.
same vibe as I used to wake up before going to work. Back when I used to smoke in the morning as well. Before going to work, have a smoke. Before I go to the car, I'd have the headphones on and listen to Bobby Roode's theme song, and you just feel like you're ready for the day. And then how you are wrong as soon as you get into work.
As soon as you get into work,
That's
it's not
that
glorious.
song
Not
is going to do
glorious.
much for after a while, but yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
John,
Excellent.
Linda McMahon.
Linda McMahon.
what a
was-
twist.
No, didn't expect that one.
Right, well, the Mac Daddy's list. Let's get here.
10 on this for some reason, John.
That's 15 now. Right, number 1. Now this is very hard picking a top 3, which is all agree of your favourite themes.
Yeah,
very hard.
hard.
Very hard,
No.
right? So
It took me like 5 minutes.
there was an honourable mention that was very close to taking one of the spots, but couldn't do it.
Oh, right.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Times.
Right, number 1. This is a test. Test original theme.
Mm.
You all know it. Unreal. Every time I heard it, fucking big man's coming the rack shit. Number 2, we have Danger at the Door, D'Lo Brown's theme.
I was considering it, but it's just like, no.
Are you
It's just the guitar riffs. And then number 3 is actually a little. It's been used by other wrestlers before, but they slightly changed it for this guy. It was Triple H when he joined the corporation. It's called Corporate Player. And the only time I heard it, I had Backlash 99 on video, and look it up, Corporate Player. It's a great thing. He had it very, very briefly, and then he had My Time.
Yeah, I know.
But I think Brooklyn Brawler had it at one point, but it was a less good version of it, you know. So those are the top 3. As far as honourable mentions, Slow Death by Hardcore Holly.
Yeah.
That was the one that was very close to taking one of the spots.
How do you like me now?
No.
No, it's before that.
Never
Yeah, before all that
It's the
shit.
cool one that Crash Holly started using after
Yeah.
it then.
We just had that aside.
And Molly, I think.
Um,
No one remembers Molly. I think she even used it.
who cares? What
No one
Molly
likes
like?
Molly.
Fuck's sakes,
How do you
Yeah.
like me now? We don't.
Another
We love
one
you,
was
Molly.
So that's Mark Miro, Molly Holly, and who else is going to be sending fucking letters in now?
Linda McMahon.
Linda McMahon.
Linda McMahon. We send letters.
Fucked.
It's
Name of
sexual,
God's,
baby.
Send in a few dudes.
2 that you guys already picked as well for honourable mentions was Cactus Jack
Yeah, brilliant.
and The Brood.
The Brood.
And also we've got the Degeneration X theme and the Main Street Posse's theme.
Yeah, we just had a little
Something
listen to
different,
that to
that was-
remind ourselves, but that was
Pretty out there, but those are the ones that as soon as I listen to them, I'm like, yeah, it brings me back to 10 or 11, just fucking watching Sunday Night Heat during the day,
No, yeah.
Rebel.
you know. So
Very close to me.
Now, next up is Niall with his.
Can we explain that before Niall says that? JP, I know what you meant by that, because we would always watch wrestling at midnight. You know what I mean? All the live stuff.
He says, watch your day.
Yeah.
well, see, I didn't have Sky. The only thing I could watch was Heat, and it would show Raw
During the
and
day.
later SmackDown, but it was on like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. on
Yeah.
Channel 4 after Stargate SG1.
Stargate.
For those who
Which
are
didn't make the
interested.
top 3 themes list.
Wait, fucking.
Sorry, I don't know.
Raw on a Friday night, Livewire Saturday morning, SmackDown on Saturday morning, then
Saturday
SmackDown
morning,
Saturday night
Sky
again.
One.
After was edited, and Heat on Sunday afternoon.
Sky
I
One.
used to have to get my Godfather Brew to tape Raw, SmackDown, or WCW or
Nah, we'll
Channel
get you on the
5.
next podcast when we get to your picks.
I appreciate that, Dagman. Appreciate it, man.
He's telling that,
Right,
folks.
So what's top 3? Right, I'm just gonna wing this off the top of my head. Then, gonna Undertaker theme on it.
Excellent.
It's one of those rare ones. I only used it once or twice. Dag. It's kind of, I think it's on the same vein as yourself. You went through so many different variations at a time, but it's one on the volume 3. I play it one night for you boys.
Yeah.
I like that. I think I had like the choppers at the start. You could hear it in the choir and all that.
Yes.
Pretty badass. Like, I think you only used it for a couple of weeks. Then I throw in Chris Jericho, Break the Walls Down.
Yep.
Because I think he's the one guy who's never had to change his music since he got to WWE. He's made a change at
Very
the start of it.
very
and
small
the intro,
edits maybe to it.
But
Big
Show.
it's been the gist. Well, he's had a variation now. Remember, I think he got a variation when he went to ECW. No, so he has the version he has now.
I loved.
remember that one?
I loved the first one he had when he came out.
Right, my head
Big
off,
shows.
like.
Y2Js. I don't know, just like
Yeah,
the way he used to-
Y2Js has
Prep him
basically
was
remained
cool.
solid
Yeah.
since day
Pretty
one.
much there. Like.
So which one would you prefer? Y2Js, which version?
I'll go back to the start. You know, the countdown.
Yeah.
The countdown, and the lights go off, and then it breaks in. No, it slowly breaks into the song, and then break the wall.
Yeah, man.
And then for number 1, I think I just go for the. It's probably a bit cliche at this stage, but the game Triple H.
Oh,
Nice,
no,
yeah.
man,
Because I think
that's-
he just started using that. I think just around the
That's
end
two
of
Triple
the
H
Attitude
things so
Era.
far then.
I was in between that and My Time. I think it was like a rap version of My Time or something that was pretty tight. And then honorable mentions, I'll throw out the Godfather.
Next one. Can't get on there.
Every time he does that at the Rumble, there's always a massive.
Oh, he's
pop.
always going to be there, and then he's in and out.
Yeah.
And nobody mentioned Jeff Jarrett's theme.
I'm surprised
surprised
nobody's
that you
mentioned
Crangle.
Goldust.
I was only
I'll
gonna.
throw that in as an honorable mention.
I was
Forget
only
we
going to
mentioned the
mention
Goldust
Jeff Jarrett if we'd have brought up Global Force Wrestling / TNA Impact / Anthem.
No,
thing.
not that one.
Crisis going on. over
I'm
there.
talking about the country one.
No, John,
Ah,
Double
that's
J.
Wang.
Double J can go FUCK himself.
No.
Add him to the list of people probably soon us. Right, lads. So, quite a.
He's got bigger shit
There's
to
some
deal with.
rare ones in there. Like, I did not expect Linda McMahon, the Raw theme.
Yeah.
Man, she come out of nowhere.
Main Street Posse.
With an RKO.
Corporate player.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff there. Now the next one, this is going to be the big one. This is going to be
Hide your notes, folks.
Hide the notes. The top 3 matches.
Oh fuck!
Now we didn't, folks. As we're saying here, we didn't look at each other's notes before we started doing this. We all made our notes. Connor basically just cheated. But these top 3 matches doesn't have to be a house show or any of the normal shows. It could be any match from the era. Pay-per-view, WrestleMania, Rumble, King of the Ring, whatever. The first one on my list is Backlash 1999, Rock versus Austin.
Nice.
Because
it was better than Fred.
That was the first Backlash as well.
John just literally staring a hole straight through it. Now, a couple of reasons behind why Rock and Austin was picked as the best match of all time. The actual promo leading up to it was unreal. Some matches that there's no build up, but the match itself's brilliant. This had this was a great lead up, great rivalry, and I love the fact at the start of the match they just go at each other. It's from the word go.
Austin doesn't even wait to get in the ring. He runs
he's literally
Shane
Austin,
McMahon is the referee. Hey Austin. Shane McMahon is the toughest SOB in that WWE bleep.
Boom, glass shatters. Austin's in half the speed of light. Starts wrecking everything. It's just got everything. He literally they destroyed the place. But great story, great execution, and it had
it was better than their 15 clash.
It was better than the 15.
Yeah, definitely.
So that sticks out because it's one of those matches where
it was for the Smoking Skull, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And I always remember Vince at the end throwing it in. He's like, just fucking take it.
Yeah, it's one of those matches where if one of us, if someone you're trying to go, what's wrestling? Don't really watch wrestling. It'd be one of the matches I'd say, watch this.
And Undertaker kidnaps Stephanie at the end of it.
And there you go. There's a kidnapping and all. So what more do you want from a
family-friendly show?
From a match?
Austin celebrating and Vince is standing there looking at Austin. He sends Stephanie into the limo, but then Undertaker's in
the divide.
Seat. Where to, Stephanie?
Remember he did that with Teddy Long.
Not the same effect.
Was it buckle up, Teddy?
Yeah, Teddy was like,
and then was it Eddie Guerrero done it with JBL? JBL gets in the back of the limo after Orlando Jordan gets beat up, I think, by the Undertaker or something, and the divide comes down. He just goes, "We're to Holmes," and he takes off, and you're like, Eddie.
Nah, not the same.
Second match. Now this was tough because Backlash is number 3 out of the top 3. Second one was very, very hard to decide.
These are in order.
These ones are in order.
Right.
These ones are in order. Second on my list, Royal Rumble 2000, Cactus Jack versus Triple H.
Did you look at my fucking list?
I know.
No, street fight. Now, John, me and you go back and forth. First thing I liked about this match is
the promo.
It was just the
Mankind
vignettes.
ain't ready to face you in a street fight at the Royal Rumble.
Well, my list. It's the number 1 match of my fucking list.
But I think the fans deserve a substitute for that match. I think you know the guy. Rips off the t-shirt.
It's on my honorable mentions, folks.
Actually, no. Sorry. Correction. It's not my number 1. I wrote it in the wrong order. It's number 3.
But still, it's in.
It's
Connor's,
fucking.
And you know what I really liked about it? First of all, it was Cactus Jack in his comfort zone. It's a street fight. It's a hardcore brawl. Yeah, he's comfortable getting
comfort doesn't fall
for him. It's comfort. But Triple H legitimately takes the barbed wire bat to the head. Doesn't put his hand up several times. He proved that he is one tough son of a bitch.
His calf and everything. I remember that.
The calf was pissed. He was Ric Flair shades of blood on him throughout the match.
Yeah.
I love the fact they kept taking the barbed wire bat off him. Cactus knocks out a Spanish. I think it was Hector Guerrero? No, it wasn't Hector Guerrero. Carlos Cabrera knocks him out, takes the barbed wire bat off him, and it was brilliant. It was just carnage. The only thing,
Cactus Jack.
yeah,
Right.
And was
The Rock.
it takes a pedigree, and then it takes a pedigree onto the tax, and it just cemented Mick Foley as he is the toughest. I put him on list of who's tougher. He's above Austin. That's all I'm saying. But it was the vignettes leading up to it, unreal.
Yeah.
The execution of the match, unreal. There's even a wee camo by Sergeant Slaughter, John. He comes out at the end when Triple H could stretch it out, and Mick grabs him. He's like, no, in you get, and still gives him a nod doing.
Keep in mind, they had it taped off Channel 4 back in the day. Every 2 months they would give you a pay-per-view on TV for free. So mid-match, there was a fucking break. The Rock comes in, and all of a sudden it goes to the break. Do you know what I mean? So
I picked it because it was just, I really thought Cactus should have won it. I was gutted Triple H left with the title, but I can't see a better match than that for hardcore match.
It was
So
one of the matches Mick Foley retired as well, wasn't it?
It was getting near the end of Mick's
It was
run.
one of
like-
his retirements, anyway.
yeah, because it wasn't his official retirement, the Hell in the
Was
Cell,
No Way Out the following
Yeah.
month.
and that was very close to
And
making
then
it in
Linda
instead
came
of
back
the
and then she goes,
instead
"You
of
know
the
what?"
Rumble.
Next-
one more go.
One more go. And then he came back again anyway.
No, that's what
just
they all
shouldn't
do.
have happened,
So
like.
Connor, you had it, and John, your thoughts then?
But I'll do mine when it gets round to me. Yeah.
I'll
Sounds a bit
retract on it.
revising.
It was just it's one of those matches you can nearly remember each
Just
each spot was
just
coming up
spot,
with it.
just the
But it
pallets.
didn't look like it was set up either. It was
the,
pretty good.
The only thing I didn't like, only thing is for some entrances in Madison Square, it was Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
wasn't it? They used the
I liked it though.
the
That's right.
emergency exit
But nah, I liked it.
entrance.
I liked it, man.
But nah, I
So
liked
fucking
it.
move on.
Yeah, but now no one likes you.
I do.
I was a wee bit cruel. Now you're in my top 3 list of just people I like.
Yeah,
Jenny's
a
not
wee
though.
cough in the background there.
Crangle's number 1 on that list, guaranteed.
And 2. I demanded a recount. Surprisingly, I'm 1 and 2 again. Right.
What did you not like? What was it? Get a chance.
I didn't like I didn't like the small,
entranceway.
narrow. John Cena returned at the Rumble and done the same entrance. I would have rather had a stage entrance or a bigger one. It just didn't look right.
Because it had this stage at WrestleMania 20.
But it
anyway,
did
didn't
suit
it?
a street fight. It
Yeah.
suited that. Oh, it's a back alley brawl type thing. And the top match, and this was tough because there's two versions of this match, and I had to pick one of the other, and it was TLC 2. WrestleMania 17, Hardy's, Dudley's, and Edge and Christian, or Christian and Edge as Fink constantly pronounced it.
For bringing that up, we've had a few shout outs online, and there's been 2 people mentioning that
Who?
last wee while. Liam Hansen mentioned that,
Yeah.
and Jared Moore had also mentioned
Liam.
that as we shout out.
And Jared, how you doing?
How you doing? Thanks,
So
lads, for your
that was
opinions.
one. A lot of people were mentioning that one, but those guys in particular had brought it up, so it's
Now-
definitely something to look at.
The one thing I sort of looked at was I was like, is it just a spot fest of just one
Yes.
move ladder one time? Yeah, it is, but it's the precursor to every big
It
ladder.
makes sense.
Money in the Bank, TLCs that followed that. That was the bar. That was it.
I think they topped it too much. Like I think they haven't really topped them matches ever since.
No, the closest I think is Shelton Benjamin's spot when he done the front flip
yeah.
off the ladder outside the ring.
But
But
stop doing those
yes.
matches.
that match, you had the 3 most well-known tag teams at the time. It was built as TLC 2. You know, there's videos and shots from the first TLC, but from the word go, it was just you had the 20-foot spear, you had the 20-foot swanton. Lita came out at one point, cracked Spike Dudley with a wicked chair shot.
And
You
Rhino
had
got
Rhino
involved.
gored Bubba Ray, he gored Matt Hardy straight through the table. And the best part, John, you'll like this. You'll notice things, I guess. When he went to spear Matt Hardy, Matt just literally turned, and as soon as he was facing Rhino, bang, straight. There was no, walk 2-3 steps into the gore. It was just he turned round straight through the table. Christian gets knocked from the ring outside the ring and lands very. It was brilliant. And then Bubba Ray and Matt, my favourite spot,
That end, yeah.
just because they had to jump from that ladder when it was falling. If you look, they were not going to make those 4 tables from where they were. So I just think, I don't think there's been a ladder match since
No.
that has, or
Yeah, that was a
TLC
great sweet
match
spot.
that has topped what they were doing.
Even that spear off the ladder. Like
20 foot-
Edge,
20 foot.
Edge pretty much gave himself like a 20-foot DDT.
20, yeah,
As well.
basically. And if you notice how Jeff Hardy lands, he doesn't get to land; he just lands flat on his back. You can
Yeah,
see the impact, and he's
Poor Spike, look.
and Spike. I think Spike actually, breaks his tailbone because he runs in, does the Dudley dog on. I think it's
Christian.
It's
No, no.
Christian.
Because then they do it to the outside, don't they?
He does it to someone else first. He does it to Rhino or someone. Then he looks, runs over, and fair play to him. Like, he puts his foot in the turnbuckle. Christian lifts him over. But you see it. Christian goes through the table perfect. Right smack bang in the center. But Spike hits the table and immediately puts his hand on his tailbone and is screaming. So I'm thinking he done something. Just for those folks who don't know what a scream is, no, it's not one of your other characters. I think Spike definitely puts, and then Lita took her top off, which I'm all for, and then she got 3D'd, which again I'm all for as well. 3D everybody, but it was brilliant.
Well, Edge and Christian won that in the end, didn't
Edge and Christian won it because they won both TLC 1 and 2, but it
they?
was
They were the
that's the only part now I did not like is
winners.
Rhino helping them up the ladder.
That's right, yeah.
But I know they were kind of doing a thing with Rhino, so it plays into the story. But I would have preferred to have seen just the climb, the slow Dolph Ziggler legless climb up.
Almost
the ladder.
like the first one, like
Yeah.
them stand on the table.
Exactly, and then
It's more of a
holding.
struggle.
But yeah, that's my
Never
top match.
pleased.
Nice.
No, never. Never, lads. Yes, that's WrestleMania 17 TLC was number 1.
Nice list.
Because I still watch it and go, holy shit, I haven't seen nothing
Yeah.
like that. Like,
Hasn't aged at
No,
all. Like you mean,
hasn't
it's
at
like,
all.
You can watch it as if it still blows you away watching it.
yeah, exactly. It's the bar, and as you said, now no one has passed
I don't
that
think I
bar
have, no.
since.
Some cool spots.
Yeah,
Since, but I
don't get
think
me
it's
wrong.
happened.
The Sleated the Soul, like, I think Kalisto done onto the ladder onto Sheamus.
Money in the Banks ago.
A couple of like the Jeff Hardy return swanton at WrestleMania 33 onto the ladder was sickening. But you look back and you're like, nah, that's the standard bar there. And I don't want to see anybody do anything like that again because there's a fair chance. As you said, Edge gave himself a 20-foot DDT.
I know,
like.
man.
If it's done once and done right, why have that? Why repeat it? Why try and top it?
You
Some
can't
point.
wrap it,
That's
That's interesting. You mentioned that DDT. That might have fucking
Yeah.
caused a bit of that
precursor,
wear and
yeah.
tear.
How would it not, man?
You know what I mean?
How would it not? Like if
I think he
you,
actually mentioned that somewhere in the documentary. Goes looking back now, it probably is where it all started. Because then, I think 3 years later is when he broke his neck. Actually, probably had to go and get surgery.
yeah.
So it
And
could have
then
led from
if you
that.
look very closely, I think it's Big Daddy V or Viscera, whatever he was going by at the time on SmackDown. Edge goes to spear him outside the ring. He's not wearing his ring attire. He's wearing his leather jacket and his jeans, and he spears him. But he does.
Viscera?
Or
Edge?
It's a big guy.
Is this when he retired?
This
Or
is
that's
this is
what
this
caused him
is
to
this
retire?
is the exact moment.
Was that Brodus Clay?
Yeah, it was Brodus
Was
Clay.
it someone? It was someone. It was
He
one
was
of the,
Alberto Del
Snapped his
Rio's,
neck
yeah.
back, didn't
and
it?
yeah, and you can clearly see he does the Goldberg version of the spear, which is head first football tackle, instead of doing the head tucked to the side and sweeping the body out. But you can see as soon as he hits Brodus Clay, his neck it just snaps, and then you can see him.
It's not actually hitting off the ground. That's him being too excited and
Oh yeah, just basically head
throwing his
run.
own. No, that's him throwing his own head back up. Was what injured him. Like, he
Momentum
threw his
working.
own
That,
head
I think
back,
that
he
was the wasn't that the last straw. That was sort of the
That was it. The next week, because that was the SmackDown, I think.
yeah.
And the
That
Raw
was
he
smacked
retired.
and he had to retire. Like Daki, enlighten us.
Right. Well, I'll go in order of least to best. So, okay. So number 3 on the list, I've got The Rock versus Triple H Iron Man match at Judgment Day.
Nice, man.
2000. Now, the reason why I put that on the list big time was because I remember watching that live and being a real mark for The Undertaker, and just when he came back. Now, I don't know if I was fooling myself whether I knew he was coming back or not, but on reflection, you see the promos and stuff, and you're like, it's obviously The Undertaker.
But what, did you have an idea it was The Undertaker back then?
I had a fair idea.
Looking
it was
back now,
him.
obviously we all know it's
No,
so
I know what
obvious
you mean.
the videos,
This is
but
where I'm coming.
younger minds and stuff
I'm going
watching, I
back to
suppose.
watching it, and I was like,
These are all tapes I had growing up.
yeah, man, I'm telling you. But this one was right. This was perfect because we were already used. Me and Connor were already used to watching Raw and Smack. Was SmackDown there at that time? I just can't.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
2000, that was 2001. So it was
We were
back in
watching it
1999.
non-stop, and this was great for us because this was one of those pay-per-views we were watching live. So,
So you stayed up for that.
yeah, we watched it, and that I don't know. The match itself was very dramatic alone, and you had the McMahons and DX and all that.
Shawn Michaels with his banana.
That's right. Shawn Michaels was referee, so you had all that against The Rock, and The Rock was starting to become our favorite and built as the number one guy.
That was the time Austin was.
He was out on an injury, so the whole prep, everything was like against The Rock, and you just hoped, and you looked at the scoreboard, and he's getting there, and then
a few minutes left on or something.
man, that was a big build up because the interference was like it was too much. It looked like too much. It looked like a big brawl. It was like
Degeneration X on the
it was
McMahons.
it was a great
Yeah,
it was a great finish. So when you seen Taker coming out, when and then again a great plot to use here with the countdown, and I've never seen an Iron Man match made that good.
Like, the
That was
timing, the
amazing,
timing
man.
They had to get it down.
Yeah, they had to work. I mean,
Like for the rest,
maybe
to
they fucked
see
up at the
Taker being
end
in
of the last
ring,
couple of seconds, right? But I thought that was great. I loved it.
it worked.
But anyway, yeah, fucking Undertaker comes back, and I wasn't 100% sure, but it was just you're watching the promo. So the promo is all about building a return of someone, or it's just an
Straight out
event.
of Nightmare on Elm Street, the little girls around the front.
Yeah, well, there's
Oh,
three
gosh.
little girls, and they're being all
Yeah.
they're quoting not scripture, but something similar to that.
Are you scared?
So it's all like the atmosphere is very dark, and and you got that name Judgment Day. So That's hanging over. And I'm sure fucking people watching that knew it was The Undertaker, but being that young,
See if it happened
you
nowadays.
had no real idea. I
With
didn't really
internet
know.
and stuff. You would
But there was a feeling that it was something to do with The Undertaker, but no idea how he was coming back, what way he was going to look and shit, right? So he was, the last time we had seen him, he was the Phenom. He was fucking devil dude, right? So he's all about killing people, right?
Devil dude.
And then you see him coming back with all this
Christ.
denim and fucking biker dude
Bike
coming
and
down. So that
everything,
was fucking really cool. I'd never
Ginge.
seen that.
Yes.
So seeing him come into the ring, a different persona, it was like, you know what? It was really cool though when we stepping into the ring, and it was like,
Size that
I don't know, they
fucking
got a
trench
really
coat.
good
It was
shot
massive.
of the ring and the end. It was a good. I don't know what do you call it though? Like a great. It was zoomed out, so you just see him climb up
wide
the
shot,
steps and
wide
into
shot.
the ring. You're like, oh shit, he's gonna.
Man, business stepping
Yeah,
over
yeah.
that rope.
And they had a whole ring of people ready to chokeslam.
Big
Was
boot,
that when he came
punch.
back?
Yeah.
Triple H, Road Dogg.
Yeah, they were all in the ring. So
Yeah,
this
and
is
yeah.
Triple H trying to fucking win the
I remember
title.
Vince tried to hit him or something with a chair, and then the walk he did
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, man. Well, he got decked as well. So you got all the McMahons playing a part in it. Stephanie, I don't think there was no Linda, right? But she never played a part.
There's a
Sorry, Connor. She
McMahon
never-
Hemsley, fucking what do they call it? The McMahon Hemsley era
Yeah.
is running the show.
That's right. So they were the biggest fucking assholes. going,
Linda's
like.
busy.
And they were good at being heels. So, so me watching it then, I don't know what age I was, 10 or something, 10 or 11. watching it.
25.
Right, Ted, yeah.
So quite young.
I was
right?
10.
Yeah, about that age. So, yeah, sort of worked it great. And then so you saw Taker come back, and then what's he do? He fucks the match up, doesn't he? So he costs The Rock by interference. So Michaels
He's
causes.
about to choke slam Triple H, and Michaels is like, yo.
He tombstones him.
fucking-
That's what it was.
Well,
But
oh,
yeah, he
yeah.
does it. He does. No, but doesn't he fucking
He
choke
chokeslams
slam
him
everyone?
first.
Like, doesn't he? He just.
He chokeslams him
Yeah.
first, and then he's in the ground, and he goes for like a staff at that point. Then
And
Goes to grab her, and then Triple H comes in, or-
yeah, I'll fucking.
Ah, yeah, X-Pac got a good one. Though. But no, I mean, I thought that was for its time fucking brilliant. I love the finish of that match. I just thought the whole, and I'm putting it down on the list because it's got. I had to consider a really good match. I could sit down today and watch these matches. So
Yeah.
that's a tight match. They worked that Iron Man match.
And here, at the end of the class too, with fucking Michaels just getting the fuck out of there, and Undertaker going, did you just, I told you not to do that. I don't give a fuck if you're the ref. Come here,
Well, they
boy.
history, like,
Yeah.
you know.
He still flipped the eyes as well, so he still
His
he's
massive
he's
head.
dead
Yeah.
man persona there. Yeah.
So I don't know about you
Massive
guys.
head with-
Oh, that's nice choice.
Have you ever got it? Have you got
Yeah.
anyone who watched that live had goosebumps when he came back? And man, I didn't know what to think of him.
So I never saw it live, but I remember buying the tape, and I
Yeah.
didn't know what happened in it, so it was all no internet and
So
nothing.
you didn't know either,
I
you
didn't
were
know.
watching
I
it
just
here.
watched the tape and saw it all. I was like, "Fuck!"
The
yes.
front cover of the tape itself is literally Kane's mask, and in the eye you see this wee
No,
Burning
it's
Undertaker
it's,
symbol.
It's
Didn't even spoil it
it's
there. like-
Taker's face.
Is it Taker's face?
Yeah, with the sunglasses, half a Taker's face.
Oh, you might be both right. That might be one pre-release
Yeah.
of the VHS, and then the VHS does have Taker with the sunglasses, doesn't he?
Oh well, that's the only one I know. Like,
Yeah.
We'll get verification on that.
Yeah.
they are still floating
Crangle,
about.
you verify
Backlash
that?
'99 on Judgment Day 2000, or on video cassette somewhere in
Yeah.
a box.
Same.
So
Yeah, you-
We need a box out.
I'll go on to my second pick. So I want to.
Why don't
I mean,
you?
I have them somewhere.
Yeah, same.
Daggy, just looking it up here. Yeah, Undertaker did wear sunglasses.
In general, or
Do you know what, Crangle?
Well, I don't know about Mark Calloway, but I know the Undertaker wore. Yeah, there's photos of him here on SmackDown. Yeah, he's got a lethal pair of aviators or something on. Like,
That's amazing. Crangle, can I just say this? If we didn't have you here, we'd be lost.
Jackie, check that photo out. I know
We'll
you
endure.
Wow.
folks at home can't see the photo.
Confirmation, guys. Taker did
but-
wear
Yeah,
sunglasses.
Undertaker wore sunglasses at some point in his 25-year career.
Anyway, let's move on. I'll get my one out of the way. Right.
moving swiftly on.
Second choice here, guys.
Nice
This is. I think someone's mentioned this already. We got Stone Cold versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17. That was 2001.
Backlash was mine, but again,
right, okay.
That was the
Might be
year
on someone's
before
list,
Rock
yes.
and Hogan, because that was 18, wasn't it?
I think we're all on the same wavelength here, boys.
Not
Reason- and that's the reason
I
for
should soon
that.
find out.
The reason for that is I think that's their best. The Rock and Austin's best confrontation, their best match they worked. Me personally, unless I go through all the Raw episodes, I'm sure there's probably one that equals it.
Stands out. Like.
Yeah.
Tell me this, Daggy. Was it billed as Austin's last match?
No.
No, this is 17.
No, it was
sorry.
just when he came out after it and made that quick announcement
that was 19.
he loved
It was
everyone.
different,
Right, so
19,
this...
didn't even know he was. Only he knew, did he not? Only he knew he was
Yeah,
retiring,
yeah.
did he not? Because the night before he had that fucking pretty much near fucking had a heart attack, did he not?
Yeah, Jim Ross, I think, was the only one that might have been clued in on that one.
Him and Steve were quite close, weren't they? As always.
But no one would have known about that.
I think he might have told The Rock because him and The Rock had some sort of exchange of words, didn't they, at the end of the match? Like, they had a wee moment in the ring. You're like, what are they talking about? You want to go out later?
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Get a bit of food.
yeah.
A bit of pay.
Talking about you.
I'm pretty sure.
Fish pie.
The Rock makes pay, apparently.
Apparently, man.
But this is the one before that though. So I think 17 had a fucking tight pay-per-view. But
A lot
the
of mixed
reason why,
opinions online nowadays about Austin says himself nowadays he wish he would have just after shaking Vince's hand and then stunned him. Looking back, I didn't mind the heel turn. I thought it was different for Austin, like, you know.
I had a poster of Stone Cold Steve Austin on my wall. And after that match, took permanent black marker and read sellout on it. I was devastated when that happened.
He's deviled.
I goes, fuck you, Stone Cold. Love you now, Steve. Send me one of them beers, please.
And do you know what? That's why it's on my number 2 pick, because it got people so emotional and worked up, including ourselves and including
John needs a moment here.
Take a breather.
including the
Probably
Mac
really cool
Daddy.
poster as well,
It honestly is. It's in my opinion. I think that's. Don't do it, man. In my opinion, it's their best match that I've seen so far. And
Can I just say something before we move on to your next
of
one?
course, yeah.
I still remember Dak doing the exact same thing with Kane posters. Do you remember that? When
Yeah.
Kane choked down
What did
Undertaker
Kane
through the
do?
ring.
Man,
Yeah, he choked
Kane was a bad boy.
Undertaker through the ring and Dak went, fuck this. Take down.
What year
Kane
was
posters came
that,
down
90s?
and
This
near
was
tears,
99.
but you could
99.
feel the pain.
And he
Betrayed.
he put Taker through the ring, and I was like,
Broke the
That's
heart.
it. Yeah.
Dacky was chokeslammed emotionally through the
Yeah.
ring.
I remember what I tore down. I remember seeing the
Sounds
first
like
thing
betrayal.
the first thing I tore down. It was the only one in like
three
eye
layers
line.
one, was it?
It was fucking remember the NASCAR race. The
Cars
cars
they used to have,
and there was a
yes,
I had pinned up a picture of Kane's one. I just went, "Fuck you!"
Car went first.
Went psycho. Like.
I just had to throw
You already
it
know,
out,
yeah.
definitely.
I'm
That's
not-
happened to a few of us.
I don't know,
See,
man.
disclaimer, I think it was a
Disclaimer.
ballpoint pen. I wrote sellout, but not a permanent marker.
So you scored it into the wall, basically.
So I fucked it up even more.
I don't think anyone's going to pull that against you.
And it went through to the wall.
Yeah, it's like forever since someone moves in that house to sell out in the wall.
I'm gonna end this one a little different. So I'm gonna hit the honorable mentions first before I hit with my
The number,
last one.
where you're
All right,
he's teasing
right,
us,
right.
he's teasing us.
So
Copyright.
honorable matches. I'm gonna try and get through this quick, right? So I've got fully loaded 2000 Triple H versus Jericho last man standing match. I thought that was tight.
Nice.
I remember to finish extremely well.
Tight.
I'm telling you.
And I was just like, rated
Tight.
tight.
Wasn't that a bit loose? I don't know. So what do you want me? What analogy do you want me to use? Honestly, no. Right. I remember to finish because it was. I think Jericho was put through a table, and both of them were trying to get up.
Yeah.
And it was the 10 count, and Triple H barely
Was
made
the
it.
last man standing, was it? Or
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
They and Triple H made it at the last second,
Yeah, and it just fucking.
and they crumbled to the floor. Like he just by technicality he won.
Yeah.
And so yeah, anyway, so I'll move on. Honorable mentions, that's one. And then I've got The Rock versus Triple H, SummerSlam 98, which was a ladder match. I thought that was pretty tight.
Yeah,
Madison Square Garden. We're going back
yeah.
to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, we're swinging by.
Small entrances, Crangle.
I'll skip on.
Yellow ladders.
Yellow
Yellow ladders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who doesn't
yeah.
love a good
I have
And purple tights.
Yes.
Fucking-
Tight.
Remember the
Not
Triple H
loose.
fucking tinfoil
Tight.
purple tight things you used to have on all the time.
that's right. Yeah,
Hitches on them.
his attire was strange
the
looking.
shiny.
You used to have that figurine for ages. It's the only one you
Oh,
could
yeah.
get.
Yeah. Right, and the last honorable mention is Kane
purple.
versus Test. Now, I don't know when the cutoff date is for what we consider the Attitude Era, but I've got No Mercy 2001. So I don't know if
Well,
that's...
what-
We'll take it. Yeah, well,
Give it, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll give it.
What have you classed as the end of your? The
Was
attitude
it
to
still
yourself?
double? Was it still WWF?
2001.
Yeah.
As far as I know,
Yeah, it
it's...
was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then
Until
if we're
2000
gonna
March.
count-
I think it was
We can get away
right
with
before the...
If they went
the
from
official
FD,
invasion
when
shit,
they dropped
I think.
the
Okay, I
the,
don't
the
know.
Attitude Scratch logo
It
and
definitely
started
still
using
had
the,
that,
just
yeah.
the W and then saying Entertainment.
No, it was pre that.
Yeah. When the
I
F
like the
left,
odds, I like the odds.
March 2002 was that.
then that's basically
That's when all our hearts were broke.
May 6th, 2002
It was Pandemanium.
was the change to WWE officially.
I'm going home.
Yeah, but well.
Just
So
like-
what's that
and
match
that,
then, Daggy?
man, it was lethal because it was...
Was it
Kane
No
and-
Mercy? Sorry, Kane versus...
No Mercy 2001, Kane and Test.
Oh,
And
Nice.
you'll note I think like 5 minutes into the match, Kane's boot gets loose, and he has to work the whole match. Like you're almost watching him going. He does those spots. He gets some to the top
It
rope.
was literally footloose.
So, yeah. No, seriously, Glenn was footloose.
Big match Glenn's
Big
fun.
match, Glenn.
Big match, Glenn.
So no, he worked the full match with that, and it was really
I think
good.
it was
You
a
had
test.
Test.
I think they were
At this
testing him.
stage, Test was
Do you think,
throwing.
do you think it was a test? We're going to loosen Kane's boots.
I'd
see
say
how
so.
he
like,
does.
This is a test.
It's a joke, lads.
Test at this stage was like fucking testing his ability, right? You know what I'm saying? Used to pun intended, right?
Don't tarnish the dead, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, leave Undertaker out of this.
He
Andrew Morton.
Test
Yeah.
started really like fucking demonstrating how strong he was, and it was the first match I ever watched. And I only remember it vividly because I had the DVD. You had the DVDs. I remember watching that one back and going, you know what? He fucking really did demonstrate it that night because he was throwing him around the place, like holding him up for suplexes or press slams and stuff. And you're like,
This is
fuck,
Test holding
this is
Kane up.
Test,
Yeah,
like
pump
fucking
handle
Stone Kane
slam,
around.
everything is
Very
That,
good,
I think
yeah.
Kane was quite heavy at that stage. I don't know what his actual.
Tez was huge.
I swear, you watch it, but it was whenever Kane was a brute too. Like, but like seeing him thrown around then, it was shocking.
Yeah.
Before he fucking becomes a dummy, then
Test
thrown
is one
around
of
by
the
everyone.
most earliest examples of man that could have easily been world champion.
Very underutilized.
Very underutilized. Like,
Overrated.
I thought if
could've
that was
done
that
something
could
after.
easily been for a fucking major title, and I'm not surprised that after that match he should have really got put in a
should've
program
got
or
what
something.
he
But
was there
he
for.
always lacked that ability to be
I always thought he
strong on
should've done
camera and
something
in
after the
promo.
fucking-
But he was pretty good, I thought. Again, yeah, underrated.
It was the drug problems over it. Like,
Yeah,
hence the
Pretty
name
much,
they
yeah.
gave him test. Like, was 'cause
I know.
he
Yeah,
failed
that's
drug test.
a horrible fucking gimmick from him.
Shout outs to him. Rest in peace, son.
So that's
Oh,
my
was he
honorable
body- Sorry,
mentions.
just a random fact. He's a bodyguard
Okay.
for, was it Motley Crue, was it?
Yeah.
like, would you mess with that man? He was coming at you like.
I don't even need to look at what my favorite match is because it's The Undertaker and Kane, WrestleMania 14. And I'm sure it's on your list.
Connor's just held
It's
up
on
his
the
list.
list.
Big time Undertaker and Kane fan. I fucking
Getting emotional.
no, honestly, no. Just the more I think about it, why it's on the list. It's if it's not the Hand of Style match that I show some people, King of the Ring. It's this match, and I show people like,
two
fuck, do
big
you want to
guys,
watch a
like-
really good
Yeah.
wrestling match? It's not what a lot of people would consider a good wrestling match because they're two big guys, so it's hard to put on a good match like that. But they, in my opinion, put a fucking really
I
good
think it's
match
one of
on.
the best big game matches.
I think so.
ever.
But it's not just the match as well. For me, the fucking program, that promo, the stories. If you think of what a WWF storyline was, for me, I just recall that because it was really a storyline. It was a real dramatic fucking thing that it was perfect for the Attitude Era.
Yeah, that-
And the two of them together. Oh, but man, if you look back and see how Kane was used, and I don't know, man. Promo gets me worked up when it's Paul Bearer being the mouthpiece, and you just fuck. And he's creepy as well. He plays that fucking
Kane
like
wasn't using
he's
the
like a
voice
horror
actor, was he?
character.
No.
Do you know what I mean? He's like. It would shake the. I can imagine just being in the arena and he's screaming whatever he's talking about. He's
Yeah, it's
building Kane up.
It's like John. It's like,
as cartoonish as it is, and it is, but it gets you emotionally involved. And so anyway, the promo for that, and I know the composer is Verdi, and is a track of his, a symphony of his, used in this promo. It's fucking perfect, and it's classical music, but it's it seems to suit these two big mythical characters. So yeah, they build a really good promo, and they deliver a really good match, and the pyro's fucking perfect. So they've got a really cool fucking entrance for the Undertaker.
I would just take out the start of it with
Man,
the Rose.
Yeah, so would I. Was just about to say
I think that was
if
just a
that was
celebrity
man,
involvement to getting- I know it's
no
like
need for it.
traditional
Kane's
way of
entrance
doing
was
it.
great, and then that segment just didn't need to be there, and then it should just hit the lights, turn them off, and then bring
It's
Taker in.
literally shoehorning a celebrity into it. It was like,
Yeah, and I
get
get-
Rose out there.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I like the tradition.
Kane
that
got a
it
great
started,
pop for
you
it,
know?
though.
Yeah.
Man, it's just weird. Me and Declan had rewatched it the other night, actually, and we're sitting there going, did Kane just go face? Because everyone fucking went nuts, and you're sitting there going, right, okay.
Looking back
That's
then,
right,
that
yeah.
wasn't really probably the best decision when you
Got a
have
big
him go
pop.
up against fucking Taker. You know what I mean? But I suppose the match turned out alright.
Worked
in
for the
end.
crack,
Yeah,
like.
fuck it.
And see when you see those guys just fucking stand there, and it's built as the first time that they fight,
That
but
iconic shot though.
Yeah.
that's when you think of that
Magic,
match, you just
man.
have the face off.
yeah, but that's not the first time they've worked right, but they'd worked as other characters. I just want to end mine very briefly because I'm taking too much time. But man, guys,
Connor
you just
just
haven't
let
seen
Connor
it.
let off an unreal smile.
It's perfect for the Attitude Era. It's my personal favorite match.
It's a good one. Like it's up there like amongst just favorite wrestling matches. But you hit on a point John mentioned earlier. When me and John both mentioned the Rumble, Cactus Jack and Triple H, it wasn't just the
And
match.
me.
And Connor mentioned it. It was the whole build up. It was because as much as people these days, what I really was saying to Dak and Connor during the week, what I hate about wrestling nowadays is people. There's no secrets. Like you see people fighting each other in the ring. I hate you. I hate this. Then they're on Twitter posting photos to get. It's shattered. It's gone now. It's gone completely.
Social media,
But back in the day,
everything.
we didn't have that. So you firmly.
I now know what Samoa Joe's dog looks like.
Undertaker and Kane hate each other.
You know what I mean? Don't even
you
know.
firmly believe Cactus Jack was from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and he was going to brutalize. It was far more believability, and I think that's the reason most of our matches.
And now we
The
know
ones we
Cactus
all
Jack
love.
collects Santa memorabilia.
I suppose we were quite lucky
Yeah,
we
it's-
lived in that era, so we can.
Yeah, there's
enjoy
no
it.
there's no kayfabe now, as Niall was saying. There's none of that
Except
illusion.
if it's on TV. But even then, like Total Divas completely goes against. Like I don't really watch that all that much, to be honest with you, boys.
Well, you say this. Now, there is a point, though, and it is Attitude Era related. Back in some of the old Sports Illustrated versions of the WWE magazine, you used to get some great fucking doodles of like Triple H had a massive fucking beak nose and everything. It was class pictures like Undertaker just hiding in the background of people's houses and all, just random things. But there was a hotline on the back of it, and you could call through to it to get and listen to like an automated line asking you if you press these buttons, you get through different channels. And one of the options was to hear backstage information like rumors and stuff, and the automated voice was Doc Hendricks.
And this was ran by WWE.
This was ran by WWE. It was the back in the magazine you could ring through and get. And man, I apologize for
two-
years
two
for this, but
quid,
we used to
three
ring
quid?
it and it'd be charging through the bill and all. We'd be sitting listening to Doc Hendricks telling us backstage gossip and shit. Go, apparently Shamrock was seen dissing Al Snow. Maybe we'll see them next week on Raw. Like,
So it's kayfabe. It was pure.
oh man, it was class.
Do you
I
not
used to
really
go and
think
fucking
anything?
tell me more, Mike. What else?
Is he
what
really a
about Kane?
doctor?
And next week we'll find out some more in the dirt sheets and all. Just sitting there going, fucking brilliant. Thanks, man. I'll be back next week.
Do you remember? Do you remember Teletext?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There was a page for wrestling news.
yep. There was.
Teletext. It was all
You lie.
A lot of the headlines
Yeah.
never came true. Like,
And do you remember how long it
You're gonna have to,
took?
you're gonna have to explain teletext to our younger viewers.
Yeah.
It was the
You're
first
gonna
time. It was
have
the
to
first
explain
ever
teletext
clickbait.
for
It was to get you in, man.
Teletext. Oh,
Now, what was teletext?
it's around the same time as VHS.
No, it wasn't.
Best way to just
I don't know
say.
what VHS
It was
is either.
before VH.
No, it wasn't
before
VHS. That's something
It's
else.
around the same time as pagers.
It was the first.
Page?
Fuck it. Do your own homework if you don't know what's going on here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
too old for this shit here. Right. I'm only speaking louder because I know it's my turn. I'm back. So, unfortunately, but I like the kind of thing that's been going on here. There's a few of mine's been picked out already, but I'm not going to bore everyone. We're going through a good load of stuff here again, but definitely shout out here.
4
From
hours.
number 3. Didn't know where John disappeared to. From number 3 is Cactus Jack for Triple H Royal Rumble 2000.
Just
Connor, we talked about that already.
Gacky, we know,
I'm just saying
we
my
know
list.
Connor's a massive Foley fan, so
I'm just saying
no
my list.
surprise.
Fashion icon, the lot. Now,
Leopard print boots.
number 2.
Do you not want to talk about why it's on the list?
No. Undertaker versus Kane, WrestleMania 14 is number 2.
Again,
And a lot of
massive.
points been covered in it, unfortunately. So mine's going to be sped up a bit.
What do you have? Do you have any?
Surely.
Do you have any points?
Surely.
To that sort of thing.
There's
Couple
more
of
that you
things.
can contribute to
Couple
that.
of
because you-
Right. Cactus Jack versus Triple H, I think, was the only second official match in WWF to have thumbtacks. First one, I think, was the Hell in a Cell.
Was
so I think
night-
it's
was
the
90
second
it's-
official match to have thumbtacks used.
Because funny you should mention that
And-
when he brings them out, pop.
The first time the barbed wire 2x4 was used.
Yep.
Need to double check that one, but I think that is a good
Didn't
one.
set it on fire, did it?
No.
No, that was the No Way
fire.
Out to Hell in a Cell. And what else? Let's see, for the Taker. Yeah, as Declan was pointing out as well, I was tipping my tongue in it. It's the first official match between Taker and fucking Undertaker. Taker and Kane. So actually to see them working the first time at it, and a lot of different moves were being pulled out
Yeah.
that you don't even see Kane following on. It seemed to be just they were trying a lot of different things, and there was a lot of backstage photos as well. If you ever seen from some of the house shows where they tried to debut Kane, see audience reaction. He had a big fucking red cape.
I
you ever see
I
that?
remember that was floating about. We showed this. We were talking about this ages ago.
I
think
thought that
the
was
only
fate.
one. I thought he was the
Yeah.
only one that kind of liked the idea of it, though.
I didn't mind it.
For a
I
big
was
entrance.
insulted for it.
For a big entrance.
Yeah, no, you couldn't work a match with that. No way. like.
Not wrestle with it all.
Also,
Fuck
they
that.
took a lot of
A
risks.
hurricane. No, fuck
Lads,
that.
they took a lot of risks by putting someone that big and tall in a spandex bright red suit, the standard in front of the Undertaker, in front of everyone, and it fucking worked.
Yeah.
No one questioned it. Just like goes, oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
And again, not
No one ever just goes, why is he red? Or anything like that. Why is the... okay. It's just weird. There's something different on it. So just that's the round off of those two. And the number one, fucking had to be, it's Undertaker versus Mankind at the Hell in a Cell, 1988.
the Hell in a Cell.
It's like Daki, you mentioned earlier. It's one of the matches I think you would show people that haven't watched wrestling before.
Yeah.
Oh, that fake stuff. You mean? Let me show you this sort of thing. You know,
Definitely.
how can you fake
Yep.
that? Sort of thing, you know?
It's quite short. There's great pacing going on with Taker and all because he had the broken ankle at the time and
Yeah.
slowing everything down as they went along. Memorable spots and the difference from that cell to any other cell match was in using referees to try and get him to stop to climb and everything.
Yeah.
Them overreacting, them frantically trying to get the doors
Terry
open and
Funk
trying to
coming
pull
out.
shit up. You watch the next one after that, excluding the one at WrestleMania with Bossman. The one after that is the Cactus Jack one, and that had the cell falling through, and there was a lot of
Yeah.
him falling off the side of it, and a lot of fucked up shit happening. No one came out to stop anything going on. It's so different. Like, even watch the Undertaker and Shane McMahon one. No one's trying to stop him
Yeah,
jumping down. No,
from
everyone's just sitting there
25
getting their
odd
white
feet.
shots ready. Everything, it just looks so set up now. It's just something. So including refs and that, having Terry Funk about as an older figure to
Kicking his
kill
shoes
time.
off.
Yeah, we all know enough about that actual match without repeating everything again. But that's the number one on
everything
that.
you said there, man, was spot on. And as
But-
you said, seeing the referees try to stop Mankind,
Yeah.
and not the man who is still standing. and
He's throwing
beating
all
it.
the punches.
Yeah, you and then my most favorite part of that entire match, will not dwell on too much, is Connor would understand this because you've a master's in media, in
Unfortunately.
film studies. It's when he goes through the announce table.
Give me a job.
And Vince McMahon actually breaks character by coming out to check on him because McMahon was against Mankind.
Yeah.
And I read in A Tale of Blood and Sweat Socks that McMahon and Undertaker, even if you look at his face, the only two times I have noticed Undertaker look scared in the ring is when he looked down at Foley, and he even says he thought he'd killed him when he threw him off the hell, and when Shane done the WrestleMania elbow drop, you look over at Undertaker, he is staring at Shane with his face is just, he looks like, did I just actually see Shane McMahon drop from the hell to try and elbow drop me? Like, but it's when Mankind's been stretched out. John, you'll love this. He's been stretched out, all the referees round him, and the camera must be like looking down at the hell. So you're coming out, if you can imagine, from under the camera to the ring, and the camera pans away out, and there's this massive, there's the cell, and it's being raised. And
I love how
Undertaker,
you're describing it to me as if I never saw it.
Yeah, I know.
as if you were there. Okay, for everybody, story time for everybody.
John's face is like, what?
You know West Jones.
He gets wheeled out, and then you just see the crowd, and you can hear the chatter of the crowd, and then the crowd goes mental, and here comes Mankind, Mick Foley, with the one arm just dying, and he has to use his own upper body weight to throw his arm onto the hell, and starts climbing it again, and you're just sitting going,
Onto
at
the
that
hell.
point you
This
think
is, wasn't it?
this man's in this. That was it for me. That was just
That shot of Taker at the top going, are you mad?
Taker's sitting there going, no, what, Jesus Christ, that's a match,
He
a
was
classic.
halfway down, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
halfway down, and then he seen Mick going back up, and he's like, right, fuck it.
Right.
Some shouted from the difference that man is now. We had got to see him in Belfast for doing one of his shows, and we just watched that man walk around, and he just looked like an
And
absolute
Genmeister.
pain.
Pain, discomfort.
Now completely different hips, whatever
Fair
sort
play to
out.
him.
But
He looks
you're
well
sitting
now.
looking, going, that damage will show for all those matches. Now, before I pass it through to John McDaddy here to get through his list, I just have two honorable mentions for matches. One of them is Shamrock versus The Rock, Survivor Series 1998. One of the fucking best clips of Shamrock going ape shit on like 20 refs at the end. It was part of that whole gimmick. He just would not fucking stop, and
Just rolling.
matches were being cancelled on him. He would win, and he'd fuck about. And
Do you know what the coolest
Give
thing
it to
about that
someone
was?
else.
Wins
Do you
reverse.
know what the coolest thing was? He was one of the shortest guys in that fucking locker room, and he was racking
he was
people.
actually shorter than
The
some of the
hero, like.
referees. He was belly
Absolute
suplex.
hero.
Legit, like.
But
That's
appar-
it. Yeah, he was legitimate.
apparently there was no actual official referees on the roster that were attacked in that. There was lads that got from local wrestling indie
they were-
take
bumps.
take those bumps. And
Haven't
second,
been seen since.
no,
That's why it was so good.
second and final match in that is because Declan has brought up the timeline, so I already had to score it out. It's back in again now.
Second fault.
Yeah, is Kane versus Albert for the Intercontinental title match, and I think it was on SmackDown. It was fucking
What year was that?
Kane doing a
Yes.
Hurricane Rana.
Yes.
Oh.
Kane was a
Albert picking Kane up for about 5 seconds before giving him that
Baldo
slam.
bomb.
Yeah.
Albert testing his strength.
Biggest boot you ever seen to Kane ever. It was fucking brilliant. But just them two
Was a
completely
class.
wrecking each other. And Crangle knows the biggest line ever for any Kane or Albert match said by JR.
Oh shit! I actually can't draw a blank right now. Honestly,
These two big, these big studs,
these two big young studs.
two big young studs.
Every time
they're
Albert-
wrestling.
How can you call Albert a stud when
I
he's
know.
full of piercings and is the hairiest back
He's
on the
full of
planet?
studs.
Yeah.
He's
But
full of
he-
studs.
to say that-
Yeah.
Like,
Some
Well,
women,
he's
some
talking
women,
about his piercings all along.
This
some women
covered
dig that
Kane
hair.
and a few
like,
other
you know.
wrestlers as well. He would also, he's big studs.
oh, he's played football for the University of America, and then but it was
These two young studs.
that match he brought up was brilliant.
Give it their all.
Seeing Kane not do Hurricane Rana from the top rope, just standing.
Yep, standing.
Jumped,
Yeah.
and Albert's no, Taka making, he's no Funaki. He's not going to be able to reach his shot. He had to jump right
No
up.
James Blakely. Tell you that much.
James Blakely.
Funaki there, but
Number one.
I think that's the only time he's going to be mentioned.
He's the only number one.
Gotta love him.
But yeah, brilliant match, Connor. And Kane was a fighting Intercontinental champ.
Yep.
Because that title, he defended that flat out, so he did. But
That was his physique wise, he was at his biggest. And for seeing him trying to pull every single match he had, he was pulling out different kinds
Kane,
of
yeah.
offensive moves
Yeah.
and stuff in it. So definitely gets a shout out for that. So it's surprising as
It's a good
well. I
pick,
think
man.
out of
I'll
all
have
the
to
lists
check
so
on.
far, could be corrected by you guys here, but I think that's the only match that's been mentioned that's not on a pay per view
Ah.
yeah, it was a
so
SmackDown.
far. So fucking
Fair play, man.
see that. Now I'm looking forward to seeing what John
The
hears.
mark.
John's got for us.
I'm going to be quick because you've picked them all, you cunt. Number 1, Austin and The Rock, Backlash 1999.
Lethal.
Number 2, Cactus Jack versus Triple H, Royal Rumble 2000. Number 3, Mankind versus Undertaker, Hell in the Cell, King of the Ring, 87.
1998.
Right, but honourable mentions. Al Snow versus the Big Boss Man at SummerSlam 1999.
Yes.
They go outside,
That's a cool match.
across the fucking street, into the
Road
pub.
Dogg.
Into the pub. I think it's the.
I knew this was
Can't
going to be on your
remember
list.
Can't remember the
somewhere,
name, but
I'm
Zach
telling you.
Wiles.
I know what. That's good. That's
passes
what
him a fucking beer bottle.
Road Dogg.
Yes. he is.
Road Dogg on commentary. Fucking
The roving road dog, because he gets up and he's like, I'm following this.
Blue Meanie and everything gets battered. They've got Pepper. They're trying to put Pepper into the fucking.
Cage.
What do you
or
call those lads you jump start the car with?
Car battery. Jump leads.
Jump leads or something. They're trying to hook fucking Pepper up to that. There's urinal fucking kicks and everything used in the fucking thing. Absolute mad match. It's just one of them that sticks out when I was younger. I loved the hardcore stuff. And then the other honourable mention was from fucking Backlash 99 again. The Boiler Room Brawl, Mankind versus Big Show, which was, it was the second one. First one was The Undertaker, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was,
I never
yeah.
saw it back in the day. I'd only saw
Brilliant
that.
match.
And just the bloody handprint on the fucking wall and shit.
John,
All red.
this is how uncanny this is. I had said to Connor that was going in at number 3 in my matches because of the handprint.
Yep.
When Mankind's pulling himself up the on-ramp or like
Yeah.
the disabled ramp for the wheelchair access, and he's just clawing,
Yeah.
and you can see that, and then he slaps his hand on the wall
Talking
before he
himself.
leaves. And I thought Big Show came across very, very good as a giant because he's under all the steel pipes, and then Mankind gets dragged back in, but Big Show, instead of going for Mankind, just gets up and goes,
He
and
goes after
for
testing boss
whoever
man,
the
'cause
first person
they
happens-
came in to help Big Show, but he
Yeah.
was like, "No, fuck you."
Yeah. So yeah, brilliant.
Exact
match.
quote.
Then there was one more fucking honourable mention,
Yeah.
but I can't even remember who the other person in the match was. Right?
Go for it.
Actually, no, I can't. It was fucking Jay Lawler's son, Grandmaster Sexy. I can't remember what he was going as then.
Brian Christopher.
He was that's it. He was going against Al Snow and Head,
Right.
and in a genius move, Jay Lawler brings out a Head and Shoulders shampoo bottle. Attaches it to the bottom of Head, and Brian Christopher gets the fucking pin, Head on Shoulders.
Pins his shoulders to the man. I remember that. That's.
Is
how
that a
you do it,
Raw?
like.
Or
That's a TV.
I don't remember. I think I got a line of a video off Cattle way back in the day, and that's where I saw that. might have been. It might be from the same pay-per-view where Al Snow and Hardcore Holly went down to the Mississippi fucking River, or whatever it was, and he got
I
pinned off the
fucking
chain.
love
Like,
that
it
match.
might be.
Brilliant.
No, don't quote me on
Fact
that.
check.
That could be wrong, but who knows?
Head and shoulders.
Nice, I like that.
Nice, like. Right, Messy Doodle.
Right, boys, I be quick on two of them as well. Oh, yeah, that's not even mine. I didn't bring notes.
One take now.
Just been using all your notes tonight, boys. Just mixing them up.
I knew there was something going on.
Right, so yeah, haven't really thought of the order. It's hard. That's hard. Like, couldn't be bored with that. So,
Honesty.
we'll throw
Go your heart.
out Rock and Austin 17. All stands out to me. So we talked about that. We covered that. TLC. At WrestleMania 17 as well, too.
Yeah,
From the
TLC
same pay-per-view.
too.
WrestleMania 17 is just one of, I think, it's the best WrestleMania of all time. It's just the best, one of the best pay-per-views. I
It's
think,
up
for
there,
every
like-
match. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even throughout that battle royal, the we throw back.
The gimmick one.
The
Yeah,
gimmick
because
one.
you would see that nowadays anyway as well. Sort of thing.
I'd
So it's
like
no
to give a
different.
shout out to James E. Cornette as
James E.
well.
Cornette,
Because he
yes.
got paid, what was it, 17 grand
Yep.
Fuck.
to get a couple of punches thrown over the top rope and done.
Wave his
So
tennis racket. That's
it was Nikolai Volkov. It was nice to see some of the old guys again.
Yeah. And then Iron Sheik talked fucking 2 hours. He's still walking to the ring. And then, right, boys, just to finish it off, 'cause, as Daggy, we were covering Rome.
Taking my
When,
notes again.
because this could be up for debate when the Attitude Era ended, sort of thing. But I'm going to throw out Kurt Angle, Shane McMahon, King of the Ring, 2001.
Oh, fucking
No,
hell.
because we
fight.
said 2002 was May. Did you
Yeah,
say?
Oh, so we'll
it's
come
in.
through it in
It's
then,
in.
yeah?
It's in, yeah, man.
Right, okay. Yeah, I throw it out just one of the best street fights, and for Shane McMahon, sort of thing, not
Sure.
a fully trained wrestler, and son of the boss, doesn't have to do that. And then just that, fucking throwing through the
spots
windows,
are
the
fucking
spots,
crazy.
the
man.
plexiglass.
Yeah.
Like, I think he knocked them out, and then Shane was telling him, "Fucking do it again."
Sure, it's
do it
used in the
again.
don't.
Yeah.
Well, it was used in the old "Don't try this at home." But yeah, the first time he does the belly to belly, the glass doesn't break, and you can see Shane land
Right on it.
high and tight in his neck. And then it's only watched a bit on it where Kurt Angle says, "Oh, he told me get up and put me through the glass," and that's why the second time he just grabs him.
Just fired him.
He doesn't try to do a belly. He just basically runs him. So that's 2 pains. It was unreal. Like
And
you
in
said, the boss's
match,
son.
same match, I think Kurt Angle broke his tailbone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was just from
When
a
he-
belly
Just
to
From the
belly
suplex, yeah.
or
When he-
suplex.
Yeah.
That fucking attitude intro, he says that, doesn't he? I think I broke my tailbone. He says that.
Yeah,
The next broken careers.
So he suplexed him on the entranceway.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's where no power.
Apparently,
I
that's
think
where
it was just a
that's what he
carpet.
says.
And then when he done the angle slam off the piece of
plywood on the
plywood
corner, yeah.
onto the, I think you can see him. He
Man.
gained his
Like for
hand.
Kurt Angle, he won that.
That's
sort
a
of thing. But
fucking
watching him at the
sketchy
end of that,
one there, isn't it?
But then you take what Kurt Angle did. He had 3 other matches I think that night.
Yeah.
Because he was still
Prior.
part of King of the Ring, was he not? Because that was his last match. It was against Shane, and he was just racked. But then Shane just took him to the limit. Like, and I think that was the moment that they all said what Shane walked back and was like,
He was he's one of the boys.
as I said. Like,
One of the boys. Like
but
What's your
yeah.
favorite spot in that match? Like, if you just go like,
I think that angle slam at
one
the
spot.
end was just
Yeah.
so unique. It was like
on that wee
'cause you're
sketchy wee
Board,
fucking plywood thingies.
Yeah, because like
Man,
how they got the
cute,
basket, they knew what they
fuck
wanted to do with it. They were
Wouldn't
like,
wanna
we
do
should
that,
Get
man.
this done quick and done.
Yeah.
And it's not the most unique move, you mean? But you're
But
like, how can
he
you do the
landed
angle
it.
slam
He made
off
it
the
work.
corner, you know?
Fucking
and it's roughly what
sketchy, man.
from the padding outside to the top of the ring is about 8 foot, 8 or 9 foot. And then add on another 1 or 2, so you're about, say, for a toxic 10, 11 foot in the air.
So the
And
chances of you
regardless
hurting yourself
yeah,
is going to be
regardless if you're the move, taking the move or giving it. And I said you've already broke your tailbone on a steel entrance
yeah, it
ramp.
greatly
I
accelerates
know.
from
And
there.
then coming off that height.
Like who didn't look at Shane McMahon after that and just go like,
Shane even pulled another wee spot there, like you mentioned. Wee spot was, I think he pulled off, was it 450?
Yep.
Was
Yeah.
it? And he,
Failed.
he
Oh,
landed,
fuck yeah, I forgot
I think
about
it was, like, was our trash can maybe
Yeah.
involved there, sort of thing. You're like,
there
Jesus.
you go.
right
Done
in
the
his
coast to
knee.
coast as well, I think.
Coast to coast could have been in there, I
And
think.
I'd
again,
love to
how did
watch
he
that
not break
again,
his
like.
how did he not break his
Shane-
tailbone doing those coast
I
to
think it's
coast?
the one. Like, that's like people think of Shane McMahon. Oh, the entrances he jumps off, which are class spots as well. It doesn't have to do them, but I think for that match, that was his best wrestling match. I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even though it was a
Go-to
street
match.
fight, you know.
Yeah.
But I think for one of his matches, fuck, he pulled it out of the bag. Like.
Yeah, fantastic.
But
Even though he did that spot in the where he went off the fucking Titantron, I was
Big
curious. I
Show.
still think
Yeah.
that match is best. Like
There
for me,
was-
I think that's
Yeah, it was.
It's up there,
Like the
but
Big
good
Show
pick.
last man standing, the elbow drop because Tess comes out and lifts
Yeah, man.
the arm, the camera rig up to lift Shane up, and then he
Backlash
does it
thing,
again
was it?
with Blackman and the kendo stick. SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, yeah.
Blackman hits him, but sure, the ambulance match he had with Kane when Kane tombstone Linda. Every match he's in, he does just
Has to do something. Like.
something
Yeah.
Well, here they are.
unreal.
I was
John,
sorry,
any Shane moments, John? Any Shane jumps or moments? Because I think we were talking about the test and Sure, well,
Well, you were talking about
some
Mean
point
Street
as well.
Posse, weren't you?
Yeah.
You know, so like that Shane McMahon at that time was like, wasn't he pretty heel then, wasn't he? He was starting to be
He
heel.
was just the fucking cocky wee rich boy
Yeah.
who thought he was the big man, and yet.
Love to hate him,
but
just fucking.
brilliant.
Just
but I loved
great
him. I
hate
wanted to
him.
be in a tag team when I was a wee lad. I was like, right, me and Shane's going to be. In
I
a
just
tag
didn't
team.
really like him that
Someday.
much because he did a good job of like making me hate
Shane
him. Like.
McMahon.
Why is guy just throw in an honorable mention?
yeah,
Just
of course.
the one, still stands
my
out.
notes again
Yeah,
for no
I'm not, I
reason.
don't know why I'm
It's
doing
just a
this.
habit.
It is a habit.
He's not looking. He's just holding it.
I didn't bring any notes. But yeah, McMahon, Mankind versus The Rock, Raw's War. I think it was in 99, the first night they beat WCW in the ratings, and it was
Oh,
taped
yeah.
and it was spoiled.
Tony
It just stands
Schiavone.
out because then you also have Austin in there.
You might
have
have people
Triple
on
H,
ringside
DX at
as well,
They might
yeah.
have Kane's at ringside as well, I think, as well. Taker might have been there. I don't know. Might have been standing in the background, like that, just looking on. But yeah, getting further back. But
was-
and then Austin came out and then
Yeah.
one of the biggest pops,
Yeah.
I think, during the Attitude Era. But yeah, just one of those
As
matches.
you mentioned
from
there,
Raw
Tony
that I remember.
Schiavone or whatever his name was, Schiavone. He mentioned, don't bother changing over to our competitors. Mick Foley, also known by one time here as Cactus Jack, wins their title as if that'll put bums in seats. 600,000
Immediately
bums in
switched over.
seats switched over. So it just shows you the love people had for all of Mankind's characters. But yeah, seeing
That
him
was the
win.
turning. I think that was the turning point as well.
That
for
was-
Raw,
that-
wasn't it?
that
'Cause
was-
people that got to see that product and it was like, right.
That was marked as in the WCW documentaries. They all do. They say that's when that was the sort of the start of the downfall. Now the big one, the one that's going to cause a whole lot of arguments
3 hours later.
later. So many hours later. Top 3 wrestlers of the Attitude Era. Again, mine's in no particular order.
A few of these are bound to cross over into our list here.
I would say there's going to be a bit of a
Well, I'm looking
crossover.
at your list, so
So-
it's bound to.
That's right.
So my first one is Connor's actually already mentioned him, not as a top 3, but just in general mentioned him. Kenny Shamrock,
Oh yes.
because first of all, he was Brock Lesnar years before Brock Lesnar was on the scene. He had legitimate MMA experience.
Get out of my
from
way.
Pride fighting, and also he brought that sense of I can kick the life out of you, no problem, whether we're wrestling or not. But he was Intercontinental Champion. He never held the world title. So I thought that was kind
Yet.
of he's gonna hold it someday. Like he come back.
You can take a chair shot
Right,
to the skull.
98
though, or-
King of the Ring.
like a fucking
He-
champ.
He
Like
was
a champ.
I wanted to try and justify why I picked Ken Shamrock. He was Intercontinental Champ.
He's Ken
he
Shamrock.
was Ken Shamrock.
His surname
98
was
King of the
Shamrock.
Ring, Tag Team Champion. He legitimately was nicknamed the world's most dangerous man. That's not a wrestling.
European Championship at some point as well.
No, he's not listed as a European champ online. No, he's not. But he's also an Intercontinental Championship winner, as well as an Intercontinental Champion. But the reason, as Connor said, just watch the bit where he decides to rack a load of referees, obviously jobbers from local wrestling companies, and he stands up and I think he screams something like, "Who's going to
Get out of my way.
Get out of my or, like,
Like a
you
fucking
can't stop me."
Fucking
As
champ.
Connor said when I was discussing the possibility of Ken making it in the top 3, the first 2 Lansdowne matches.
Yep.
Something,
Only 2.
Something. The only 2, Stevie B, Blackman,
And Owen Hart.
Owen
Owen
Hart.
Hart.
God rest his soul. 2 big young studs.
Two big young studs.
Ken
both
Shamrock
SummerSlam
legitimately
matches.
terrified me
Yeah.
because and his music and the so just someone goes, "Oh, who's got the best?" I just Ken Shamrock. That's
I'd throw Steve Blackman up against him. Steve Blackman was.
it was
almost like
every time they
equal
fought,
to him,
it was a
like-
mix of wrestling, martial arts, but it wasn't
Competitiveness.
too far in one direction that you lost interest as a wrestling fan. Number 2, it's probably going to be on Connor's list as well. Mankind.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not putting
Yeah,
Mick Foley.
that's what
This
I'm
is legitimately the character of
Same,
Mankind.
right, yeah, Mankind.
Couple of reasons. His voice and his promo and the way he always used to do that crazy, well, now I'm talking. That just that terrified me.
Performance left.
He was so
It's actually very good.
thank you. He was so in that character
was
that,
there.
that you could really believe the man had 4 different personalities. He's
All of
always
them over.
all of them. He
What
was
about the Royal
always
Rumble?
one for specialized matches.
What Royal Rumble was it that he came in as all 3 characters?
98.
98 Rumble.
Mick Foley,
He
Dennis
was
the Commish.
he was always bringing specialized matches, whether it be from the Japanese death. I know he didn't do much of that in the WWF/E, but he was always buried alive. He was always the one who was
in
getting.
those
He got
gimmicks.
matches over. He got actual matches over as a legitimate. Oh, this is not a gimmick match. This is a legitimate match. And he was, as Connor said there, 4 personalities, all of them over. He was the most creative man of the Attitude Era for wrestlers, like not on the creative team, but if you look at who done what with their character, Mick Foley had 4 personas, and every single one of them people loved, obviously to certain degrees.
Also,
But he got over with them.
yeah,
but-
I don't think he was in a casket match. It's the one thing I can't find.
I
anything
can't
on.
think, but Buried Alive,
But
Hell in a
basically everything
Cells, Boiler Room Brawls, and just
Isn't that in the casket with Shawn?
Shawn Michaels, yeah,
Was
in
it?
your mind games.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. The only time I saw him wrestling on one, I was like, oh, that was a casket match.
so that's sort of the reasons I highlighted Foley. And, like, you know, you still like, you look back and you kind of go, well, Mick Foley
I
could
stand
he could
corrected.
story tell. Mick could. He wasn't like, you know, he wasn't the greatest wrestler. Like, he wasn't going to bust out every single hip toss and arm drag and all that stuff. But he could. All of his characters, he had to near change his moveset, but he was the all rounder for me.
Yeah.
And as you said, he got 600,000 people watched him, and he was the start of the turning point of the Monday Night Wars. So, and the last, but obviously certainly not least on my list, the man who was the Attitude, and to some extent still is, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now I know it's easy to pick him and go, well, yeah, it's Stone Cold. No, I really struggled to put Austin on this list because I didn't want to fall into that category. But when you're sitting there going, everything he done with McMahon, every pop he got, no matter what town he was in, was just was monstrous.
Yeah.
It was just the loudest pop. And as you said, after he took the Heart Driver and he had to kind of update his moveset because he wasn't as fit to do, he couldn't obviously take anything that would maybe damage his neck again because he was already on board time after that Heart Driver. He changed his style and yet was still more over because he was a brawler. He wasn't doing, you know, every form of suplex, and he wasn't Ricky the Dragon
He
Steamboat.
just looked like someone's dad who's pissed off and has to go out and sort something out.
And Vince McMahon said this.
He's just out
He
of work.
said no one personifies charisma like Dusty Rhodes. He said he was the most charismatic man ever. He said about Austin that everybody wants to be like Stone Cold. You just want to go into work someday, stunner your boss, go to the secretary, be like, chug a cold one, Austin 316, and he was the Attitude. Someone says the Attitude era. For me, it was the Austin era.
Even Ric Flair says he was the greatest.
Yeah. So, and if Ric Flair gives you a nod, I think you're pretty well in. Lads, my honourable mentions very quickly. Taz. I think Taz was underrated. I like Taz's entrance. I like the fact that he was quiet. I like the fact that he was on Kurt Angle's level with regards to his wrestling ability. He was fantastic. And he had a hardcore background.
The only wrestler in history to be under contract for WWF at the time.
Yep.
Fighting a WCW wrestler for an ECW championship.
Yeah.
There you go.
History, man.
And like, even when Taz, he changed to color commentary, he was
that-
used to that, but people still loved Taz. And he was built.
Was that Mike
On
Awesome?
the last,
yeah.
I struggled with this one, Daki. I struggled badly to even put him in as an honourable mention
Tell me!
because I haven't liked any one of his personas, and I haven't liked his character.
But he's on your list.
But you have to give credit where credit's due, and it was Shawn Michaels. Now I know that's a big thing, saying he's one of the
Why are you trying
greatest.
to defend Shawn Michaels?
No, I'm not trying to defend
Why are you
him.
trying to defend him?
I'm going to defend him, then bury him.
Let us explain.
He was doing the whole DX thing, and that was no one had seen that on wrestling TV before. It was all just, you had your Arn Anderson, your Dusty Rhodes,
Suck
proper
the
wrestling. Exactly. There was so much stuff going on when they tried to invade WCW, and they went down. He closed the door on
that was
us.
Triple H.
Was that after Michaels? That was still good though.
That was
It's one of my favorite
DX
moments.
2.0.
But I am aware of what he done for the Attitude Era, and yeah, fair enough. But I've never been a fan of Shawn Michaels, regardless of the area or the second run he had.
I was more of a fan of Commissioner Michaels.
As
Wearing a
a-
Rick
yeah,
Rude kind of suit, just taking a
the
piss all the
tweed.
time.
But
changing
yeah,
matches.
that's the three.
Still got
anyway,
those
lads.
clothes.
Ken Shamrock, Mankind, and Stone Cold were the. I thought I've got a storyteller, I've got a brawler, and I've got
That's
a
a
mixed
match.
martial artist.
That's a triple threat.
That's
match.
a triple threat. Daggy, who have you? Now this is Mon Rasters. Ooh.
wrestling.
Yeah, I didn't want to go into the
Scally.
same trap, like putting the big guys on my top three. So it's hard. It's hard to actually. But I've got a reason why they're on the list. So, okay, here it goes. So, no, I stroked someone out on the third entry, and I've replaced it with someone else. My third pick is The Rock. No, the reason why I put The Rock down, I legitimately hated The Rock when he was up against Stone Cold. Fuck, I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed his matches, of course. He always. I didn't want to be picked as, okay, you're The Rock, and you're Stone Cold. I was like, no, I want to be Stone Cold. You know what I mean?
Everyone wants to be Stone Cold.
Funny you mentioned that, right? I have a memory in primary school. Check this out now, right? Everybody, like you just said, everybody would. You used to play wrestling. I know, right?
How the fuck?
Check this out, right? Everybody picked their favorite wrestler. And I remember I wanted to be Stone Cold, and Daggy wanted to be Stone Cold, right? And he goes to me, no, hang on a minute. I'll be Stone Cold. How about you be the rattlesnake?
Or the ringmaster.
And I was like, right, I'll be the rattlesnake.
Yeah. What, the Poundland version?
Just didn't want to give it up, didn't we?
Lukewarm, but
I think I might have been the only one that actually was pure Rock more than Austin.
You were.
Yeah, like,
definitely.
I liked Austin, but I was pure Rock. I thought just as catch.
You were one of the only people I ever knew had a Rock t-shirt.
It was the shirts.
you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I still have it, but I still have it.
Reason why
Still fit?
Yeah.
So,
It's up to my nipples now, like, but fuck it. Sorry, Larry.
but see, at the time, I wouldn't have. At the time, I wouldn't have put The Rock on my. He's number 3, number 2. I wouldn't have put The Rock down as my favorite because I fucking hated him, right? But like looking back at the Attitude Era, I'm putting The Rock in straight away as quick as I can because I know there's only 2 slots left. You know what I mean?
So, are we talking a tracksuit version of The Rock? Because that's a good one. Like
Injured slash.
right before the corporation,
Group
or when he
surgery.
was that
he was
corporation?
getting surgery.
Was it?
That's why he wore the,
Okay.
the light
right.
black
I
vest.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a overgrowth of hormone giving him man boobs, and while he was getting them surgically done, while the scars were healing, that's why he wears the loose black clothing.
Now the size of his
Right.
tits.
But
I've got no
it's,
response to the size of the Rock's tits. To be
The
honest
Rock
with you
is
now.
definitely on a couple of these matches here, so it was like, yeah, we could definitely have to put The Rock in. And number 2 is no, actually, see, number 2 and number 1 for me can be swapped around anytime. JP, you know who I'm gonna. You probably know who I'm talking about here now. These 2 can be either one, right? So I've got Stone Cold down as number 2.
So that's number
Yeah.
one.
As weird as that is, right? But like, I could have same thing. I could put him as number 1. But he's down as number 2 for now.
who's got
You don't have to explain yourself to me.
No.
JP, how to put him as
I'm actually.
break it to him.
What I've done is because I couldn't make my mind up this whole time doing this, so I'm just like, you know what I'm talking. I'm not gonna do because you know what I'm talking about here, right? Because you know these are my 2 favorites. So, but I've got Stone Cold here as number 2, because I've got more matches that I enjoy more with the other person. So, Stone Cold is a fucking. He's just a man, like, so he is the Attitude Era, so that's why he's on this list. Number 1 is The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And the reason why he is he's the Phenom. So he's to me he's the greatest gimmick, the greatest big man, and he's got, in my view, some of the best matches on these lists. And yeah, he has to be number 1.
The streak alone, man.
And there's a streak too, yeah.
Just the ability to be able to reinvent yourself over and over that many fucking times for that long.
Yeah, and I
But
think it
using the
has
same
to
colour.
And then people still ban into you.
Fair
Be,
play.
yeah, I have to say because he's
that
had.
gimmick pretty much a zombie walking around a cool fucking
is, yeah.
control the lightning. The fans are like, whoa, this guy's still cool.
You can
Again,
get over with
Declan
Paul
brought
Bearer.
up a perfect point there, and so did John. That's what I was saying about the believability. He's like, one of my favorite current wrestlers, Bray Wyatt, because he does that supernatural eye and the fireflies and all looks class. But people are like, oh, how am I supposed to buy in? And you're like, well, how long? Undertaker, from when he came in as part of the $1 Million Man's stable, and he came out as with the purple and the gloves and the all the grey. Did anyone ever question the man that can control lightning and hell and come out through the ring and summon demons? No, he was that well. That's what I think modern wrestling gets ruined, because you can't buy into a story. It has to be reality. And you're like, well, no, I want to see characters. You don't have to make them like Kamala and stuff, but no one doubted The Undertaker. No one doubted Kane was set the house on fire that burned their parents. See, nowadays, you couldn't bring someone like The Undertaker in. You've got Demon Finn, kind of cool. You've got parts of The Undertaker scattered across the roster. But you try and bring someone in who's a dead man and who can do coffin. No one. You're not going to be able to do it. No, and it won't be the person that won't get over. It's gimmicks are near gone as well, man.
I'll do it, lads.
If I watched Samoa Joe versus
Very
Xavier Woods
relevant
playing
points.
Tekken 7 at EVO this year, you know, kayfabe ain't here anymore, lads.
No, that's what I'm saying. They treat it like going and see medieval times or something. There's a show going on and they're just fucking shouting shit.
Yeah.
But it's weird as well. You look around the crowds now. There's like no one drinking beer or anything. He's just going. There's no. So it's everyone else just up in the tiers, drunk off their heads.
The reason why
Remember
Taker's, the reason why I put him as number one, and like I've got on my notes here, just like you can swap them around.
Yeah.
But the reason why I've got Taker as the first because he's had longevity, he's had a longer career. Stone Cold
He
did
didn't
get
leave.
attitude
He
era.
didn't leave.
What's
That's
that?
the biggest thing as well. He didn't
Yeah,
leave.
it's on reflection. It's today when I look back.
I
I
think what-
certainly would have had Stone Cold as my number one
Boys, you
when I
might
was
know
growing
this
up.
probably more than me. Like, was he not offered? He's bound to have been offered.
I think there was
WCW
something, but
contract.
not really.
He was bound to have
No.
been offered millions. Even Sean at that stage probably would have been offered millions. Like, but they stayed. Like,
It's been noted about Sean, but I don't know really about Taker. It's one of those kind of things. I don't think he was interested. He just knew that. Look,
He
he
stayed,
came
yeah.
from that direction already. There was nothing to be done. He'd
He
seen
was
people going
offensive.
over and having to change everything, and he'd be lost in
even when he
shuffle.
was injured
Yeah.
at home and stuff, he's bound to have got a few phone calls and be like, "Fuck's sake."
No, we'll put it this way: he was between that gap when he had the groin injury and he was hobbling backstage, fucking still trying to do the ministry thing, but dressed up in the biker gear. He just wasn't even wearing the suits. He couldn't. Still trying to perform, and then he was off camera for ages. He was able to sit back at home for most of the year. If he was somewhere else, that wouldn't happen.
No.
Just look at Vader and
He's
everything.
probably
Still
going,
having
look,
to
I'll
stick.
cut everybody else's paycheck.
Yeah.
Taker, please. Taker, please.
That's it.
Can I'm just going to run through my honourable mentions
exact
dead
moment
quick, right?
happened.
Go for it, big dog.
Okay, so I got Kane, 'cause for no fuck, anyone here
Yeah, for
knows why I've
fucking-
got Kane on that list,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Kurt Angle,
yeah.
and here, he was on the list. I stroked him out and put The Rock on because the top three, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, The Rock's on the list. So I had Kurt Angle. And then we were talking about when the Attitude Era cut off. I had RVD down here. He did make it in the Attitude Era. He was,
Rivada.
or not, I wasn't sure.
2001.
Yeah.
Roughly
Counts.
Was he there, was he?
Yeah, because we
The
were
invasion angle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
I didn't do a lot, but if he was in there, I'm just like, here, I need
one
to
of the most
shout
over
out.
in the invasion angle, if anything.
Oh, a reliable guy to get over. It was like, here, he's got to get over.
One
Let
of
him
the
in.
few Alliance guys I think that was cheered.
Right now, everyone hated
the
the picks that they had were kind of like the bottom of the barrel,
Sure.
except RVD.
Right, you got fucking...
Sean Stasiak, fucking, I don't know who else.
Buff Bagwell.
Come to you.
Bill Menendez, for fuck's sake.
No,
Chronic.
there is a reason
worst
behind
tag
that.
team
Well,
ever.
they had DDP
What
early
do you
on.
call him?
This was
What do you
after
call
that.
you, man? Fucking the NXT trader. I call him Bill Menendez. That's a different
Bill
fella.
Demott.
Bill Demott, man.
Bill Demott, yeah.
Bill Demott.
Bill Menendez is the real name of an MK
John,
player. Sorry.
John.
Sorry.
John. He was going by Hugh Morris.
Hugh Morris.
He was going by Hugh Morris. But yeah, Decky, as you point out, the only reason we didn't get the invasion that everyone really wanted was
Money.
Was money.
Money,
but
money, money.
As Niall, as you just said there, it was AOL / Time Warner. They merged and they owned Sting, Flair, Nash, Hall. So if someone said you
Steiner.
get to sit home for 18 months and you're still going to get paid a full wage and you don't have
Yeah.
to wrestle, you don't have to travel, you can chill with your family. To be honest, lads, no matter how much I love the business, if someone offered me 18 months of paid work for, I would be sitting on my ass. But now,
We do the same. Like.
Could you imagine if
the
you...
guys who like Booker T? He's like, no, I'm going to take this chance.
No, Booker T was over.
Yeah.
Booker T still, and he went to TNA, he was still respected. So Booker T, I love. I thought the scene with
Made
Austin and
sense for
him in the
He was coming
supermarket.
as a WWE champion, so
Yeah, and you know what the worst part is? Just before I'll stop talking,
very quickly,
Connor
5
said
times.
he won it 5 times, and
Very quickly,
he always is the 5-time champ. That man deserved to get a legitimate title reign, not during the hot potato, give the world title to everyone, because before we fold, I want to say I was world champ. The man had the skills by himself to be a fantastic world champ, which he proved when he got the run when SmackDown was in its early stages. So, but yeah,
Valid point.
very, very good honourable mentions there as well.
And I think I got 1 or 2 left. I had to put Triple H in there. He's been mentioned in so many matches. He's down
Yeah.
there on the list. One last wrestler here, and I've got a tag team. I hit the tag team first. APA, need a shout out. And then my last shout out for honourable mention, Billy Gunn sold his ass
One Billy
off.
Gunn.
Best clothesline
I'm
taker
sorry. He
of all
took the funniest fucking stunners I've ever seen, man.
What was the 6 foot famouser? He had Bubba Ray on the table. He was able to leap up and famous him through it.
The
Well,
man,
whenever he got tagged in,
he
he got some. He used to like be
He
very
used to chew
vocal.
the chewing gum whenever he'd take a big head, he'd spit it out.
Did a bit of fucking Mr. Pepper
Connor,
shit.
can you answer me this, lads?
He was
Was the
lethal.
APA, were they the acolytes the entire way through the Attitude Era?
Yeah.
Accolades in, the accolades.
Now,
with
when did they become? Because it was Bubba Ray when he still had the stutter. Came and asked, but the Dudley Boys came and asked Farouk and Bradshaw for protection, and that's where he comes up with the
sure, I don't
acolytes,
know.
and they give him money, and then the star protect. Was that still in the Attitude Era?
Yeah.
Or was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. But I didn't like them as the acolytes. I liked them more as the APA.
Yeah.
But again, still.
I used to hate them back in as the acolytes. I used to hate them.
They were still the
Hated
acolytes
all-
until a draft, and then Bradshaw went off on his own doing the fucking blackjack Bradshaw
trip
kind of thing
Bradshaw.
again. That's cut off.
So Connor, man, falls to you.
There we go.
And again, I think every single one of these has been already said, so I'll be brief. I'm sorry, by the time it gets around this end of the table, me and John sitting there going, fuck's sakes.
I know we're going, you bastards.
Sitting there going, right,
Next
we'll
time
just
we'll go
wrap
the
up
other
while
way.
you had your fucking moment in the sun. So,
And it feels good.
number 3, Mankind. Had to be done.
Yeah.
As a fashion icon alone. No, but seriously, there's certain people are put on as complete workers. It seemed to be once you got up through Mick Foley and you put that man through so many things, you seem to be right. You're ready
Yeah,
for the next
that's-
level, which is unfortunate for him because by the time it came for him, he was always, when he was in the title scene, he was always more on the offense.
Yeah.
Rather than defense and building up and getting a good comeback at the end. It was the other way around all the time
was-
for him. So Mankind definitely for that, for number 3. Number 2, Stone Cold.
Yep. Shadow of it out.
Now, because of technique wise and stuff, everyone slags Cena, whatnot, 5 moves of doom. I'm telling you now, how many awesome matches it was just literally as I said, in the
Lou
description,
Thesz press.
it just looked like someone's dad or someone you
Yeah.
knew just stepping in. It seemed like a different part of the show. Like everyone else was actually wrestlers, whereas Austin was some random guy who turned up, had a dispute, and won't fuck off till he gets his job back, till he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
He's just
Two
coming in,
beers.
That's it. Like, and
just took his top off, jeans off, he's ready to go.
Have
You know
a
what I
few
mean?
cans.
No,
That's
is
it.
it?
He's had a
Cans.
few cans already before he comes in.
Yeah, like when she
Speaks
says
his
big
mind.
bag of cans.
Big bag
So-
of cans.
Made him very relatable.
That's it. So so that wise for Stone Cold's number 2. Number 1,
Who's one?
it's Undertaker.
It's Undertaker.
Again,
Undertaker's
it
cleaning
seemed to
up.
be that kind of. I remember the promo for.
He's leading the charge, man. You're gonna have to put him like high up there somewhere. Like, there you go.
I think it was for the
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. Was for Austin. There was a big moment in that promo where it was like, okay, you want to get in the Rumble, you have to beat the Undertaker in a buried live match. Always seemed to be like you have to beat Undertaker, or you have to beat Kane
damn.
out of
Yeah,
fucking
that's
nowhere.
bad
The lights
enough.
go down. You're just like, right.
And then and then in a buried alive match. It's worse.
It's
how-
just
it's bad enough having to face
It's just a
it.
look.
Having to sell
It's the
buried
look and
alive
everything in
Inferno
it, yeah.
match.
Yeah, exactly.
But has Taker actually
Yeah,
won a
Connor,
very live match?
fantastic
But
list, man.
I have a couple of honourable mentions that definitely go through here.
Sorry, Connor, I was just thinking, has Taker actually won a buried alive match?
No, Kane-
Like, I can only think of the one, like obviously the iconic one where his hands coming through. The guy
lost
there.
that.
Don't think
The one
he-
against McMahon.
Kane
guys, what's the answer?
exploded out of the tip loader
Yeah,
and put him in the
against
grave.
McMahon, wasn't it?
I
What
checked
do you
back
think,
at
man?
that one, but that's actually a good question.
Think
for
about it,
that. Randomly as well, do you remember SmackDown around the time kicking off to get the ratings going? They actually had so many like casket matches, a buried live match,
Oh, the
man,
gimmicks,
like,
man.
first
Inferno.
blood match,
Everywhere.
Inferno, everything.
Inferno
Just chucked
match.
us out. Looking at the time, I didn't realize what was going. Just like, gee, what the fuck? It just felt like another
Yeah.
pay per view or something. Now you understand. It was a killing.
Yeah.
And did
Every
Undertaker
week,
not use
after
the
that.
buried alive matches as a resting time?
Yeah.
When he wanted time off or he wanted to change the gimmick, he was putting a buried alive or something where or a casket where he'd be wheeled out. So not beat per se, yeah, beating the match, but not
You're
you
not
know
getting pinned.
No,
Yeah.
he's leaving with his
Yeah, it was
his
the
shield
casket
intact.
match. Did he use that originally to kind of do that
think
kind
it
of
was,
thing?
I think it was
With,
one of the first casket matches. It was not Yokozuna.
Someone picked him
It
up
was
from
one
the ring and like
and put him in or whatever. He got beat, but he was wheeling out and it came up on the Titanatron. And there's him lying inside the coffin, and he
Yeah.
says something along the lines of "You can't kill a dead man," or
that which does
I shall
not
rise
wish to
again.
be
Yeah, he does a big
extinguished
speech,
or something.
But then
yeah.
the casket goes on fire,
That's right, yeah.
and then Undertaker's gone. But I think that's
Bye-bye.
why he never won a buried alive match. Is because it was used as Undertaker has to take time off, so we can't just have him
Yeah.
win a match and leave. He
Yeah.
needs to go out.
Whereas he used to always win casket matches back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
It was his match.
but then I see what you mean. So then, yeah,
Yeah, rest period.
So I've got finish off here. Just a couple of honourable mentions. 'cause
we're
there'll
not
be-
finished yet. Hold
No,
on, Crangle, do you not?
tough.
Yeah,
So
let
I'm
him-
looking
let
for.
us-
I want to see what John's got honourable mentions wise because I want to see how far we're getting matching up here because we're getting the midpoint again before we go around the other side of the table here. So I've got Kane definitely for as I mentioned for that Intercontinental run in 2001. I've got Boss Man
Fantastic.
coming back in completely different, still keeping some of his
Black
old moveset.
Black Boss Man,
yeah,
nightstick.
SWAT Bot Man.
SWAT boss man.
Again, Daggy mentioned a tag team, so I've also got a tag team down here. New Age Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
For a lot of
I
reasons,
didn't
Dak
know.
mentioned about.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
Oh, if I had a mentioned tag teams, that would have been my pick.
Yeah.
It goes without saying that. And then again, another great worker always gets overlooked. It's Gangrel.
Yeah, he's so looked over for many different things.
Yeah.
And when you said New Age Outlaws, one match, John, because we're going to direct everything to you apparently for your approval this evening.
Of course.
Who, me?
Chainsaw Charlie, is it Cactus? Chainsaw Charlie, Cactus Jack, New Age
Yeah.
Outlaws, the old style blue
Yeah.
cage, and there's a spot in it.
Oh, are you going to talk about the
is it-
thing that you're going to say? But I'm going to say
only
for
one
you.
wee quick point. This is what I remember about the Outlaws.
Let me say
Billy
it.
Gunn class when he does those wee short jabs. Road Dogg, oh, you didn't know? It's a China. Mick Foley's head's like on the bottom rope, leaning out towards the cage door, and China just, I mean, she was built. He's all wins.
No
I
giving.
think that was
kid, like,
97
No.
from what I remember to get cage match.
Nah, she's
Yeah.
right behind him, man. So
John,
you'd be careful.
John's going. Not the, oh Jesus
I
Christ!
know exactly.
But it was
It's the
that match
bumpiest.
that got me into the Outlaws. It was that match that I went, holy shit, these guys are. I didn't look at them as DX add-ons. That was when I was like, yeah, they're their class as the Outlaws.
I don't know if he's probably mentioned how maybe zoned out there, but
Reading all our notes.
when they're through into the dumpster.
No.
Through
Again,
all
here we'll
the-
leave that.
the
We'll leave that for
vortex
now.
and
And
all that.
John has to the Mac Daddy, because you know it's good if you've made the Mac Daddies list, like
I want to see this.
unless we've already mentioned it.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Right, I'm going to start off.
I've got my own joke.
Two honourable mentions first, right? The first honourable mention, for me, I loved watching him growing up. He was one of my favourites. Had a figure of him, Hardcore Holly. I think he's one of those guys, when you think of the Attitude Era, who held up the fucking hardcore division. He was just one of them workhorses. Every match he was rough as fuck, you know what I mean? He was just, right, you're fighting Hardcore Holly. Oh shit, I'm in for a match here. Do you know what I mean? The second and final honourable mention, before we go into the top three, Chris Jericho.
Nice.
Chris Jericho. Alrighty then.
No, Chris Jericho definitely, man. I'd throw him.
Coming from WCW into WWF.
He had a hard time coming in. Like.
He had, but that whole, like, I remember having the Raw taped, right? Yeah, it was Raw before SummerSlam 99, right? Chris Jericho interrupted Undertaker and Big Show when they had that quick team. Undertaker made fun of his beard and all. You got a peach fuzz growing off your chin. And he into that fucking... interrupted the Rock and shit, you know what I mean? Got fucking cut down and all. But what a fucking entrance. He was one of those boys that like just got over as soon as he went to WWF. He was huge in the Attitude Era. So Hardcore Holly and Y2J I had to mention. So.
Excellent.
Yeah,
choice.
no, good.
As well as the the top three. Number three.
Oh my god.
That wasn't even a list.
No,
I guess he was
Number three.
no, those were honorable mentions.
That's a
Right?
good list so
Good.
far.
I know. When you listen back to this, I say Y2J and there's silence. Right? But
Trying to sort shit out, man.
Yeah.
at number three, we have The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Hated The Rock as a heel when I was younger, but he was one of those guys when Stone Cold wasn't about that I cheered for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was your surrogate.
Yeah. Number two, there is not one wrestler that I hated more than this man growing up. He is the absolute epitome of heel for me in the Attitude Era, Triple H.
Yeah.
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 I fucking hated Triple H with a vengeance. I swear to God, I
That's-
fucking hated him. Love him now.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
Well,
have his
then-
poster then, John.
Then I did not like that man at all. Swear to God.
He did
No,
everything.
Wouldn't go that
right
far
to
now.
wrong.
Wouldn't go that
Yeah.
far, you know. But
He got you.
and then of course number one, the Almighty Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
where-
saying? No,
What?
No words needed.
Jeez, Stacky.
That's
Has
me.
Stone Cold
That's
been in
me, lads.
everyone's top three so
He's
far?
been. I think he's made
Can't
it.
not be. If it's an Attitude Era
I
podcast,
know.
it has to be.
It's gonna be.
He's number two at
Action
mine.
choices too.
If you didn't pick Stone Cold as one of your top three, you're just trying to be out there and be a hipster and be like, oh no, I'm not going to be
Straight
choosing Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I do say. Now, last but certainly not least,
Pressure's on. for
Messi
Stone
Doodle
Cold.
has either got John's top three because you've been looking at his notes.
Yeah.
What have you got?
Well, unfortunately, John, I'm going to break your heart. I'm going to be a hipster. Austin, but I will throw Austin into my honourable mentions.
Had to be that gay, didn't it?
That on our podcast.
I throw right. So start off with my honourable mentions, and it's Austin straight in there again. I think it's been covered enough. Sort of thing. Austin's in there. Throwing a tag team, since we're throwing tag teams in. Edge and Christian stands out. Like they have a lot of tag team reigns, and also I can maybe throw them in class them as singles wrestlers as well, because I like them as being singles competitors. Edge, obviously, we talked about him earlier on a wee bit there. You know, Christian thought he should have been pushed a lot more than he got, unfortunately. But fuck it,
he got pushed more than Devon.
You know, so that's it. Yeah, fuck it.
They did a better job at that.
Cable's got a bigger push than Devon.
Bless Devon, he was a fucking worker.
But I'll go into my.
I am the Devon.
I'll go into the official top three then, right? So I put in number three, Taker.
At number 3?
Yeah, number 3. I had to throw him in there. It was either him or Shawn Michaels.
Mark just sat up.
And but
big match, Mark.
Number 2, I'll throw in Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero's out there. He's just small classes about a vanilla midget by Kevin Nash. Sort of thing. And
I remember him from
Eddie Guerrero could probably fucking wrestle circles.
Was that the Latino Heat?
Funny enough,
Eddie Guerrero.
Just Eddie Guerrero in general, but I loved his later stuff. Unfortunately, his later stuff.
Unfortunately, you broke a rule.
He got into his prime around the time, you know.
Did you see one of the things I can always remember? I think even from the ECW days, John would know the best on this. Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero. And then they went to WCW. Then they came in as the Radicals, and I love the way they positioned.
Dude, I remember SmackDown for those guys.
But when NWO sold out, they referred to Eddie Guerrero as the Mexican jumping being Eddie Guerrero.
Before Niall hits us,
loser.
Before Niall hits us was top one. Interesting Eddie Guerrero fact. He started wrestling, obviously famous Guerrero family. He started wrestling under a mask. When he was maybe no age at all, like 16, 17, and as you know, the mask is ingrained in Mexican wrestling culture. Yeah. There's Mil Macross. I know there's more than obviously my couple of ones I know, but he took it off willingly. He was one of the first luchadors to actually remove it willingly. And they said to him, "Why are you taking your mask?" He goes, "I'm going to make my name as not with the mask, but as myself and my own wrestling ability," and didn't use the Guerrero name for the start of his career, because he did want to get that. He's part of the family, he gets a pass already, like the likes of Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes and all that there stuff. So he first wrestled, one of the very first to unwillingly take his mask off and said he'd make his own way in wrestling,
and he did. To be honest, again, I wasn't around the time when his dad was probably in his prime, sort of thing. But to me, Eddie Guerrero is probably the most famous Guerrero in the lot. To me, anyways.
Outside of Mexico, outside of Mexico,
South America. Brett.
Apologies, Connor, you mentioned a minute ago, I might have broken rules saying I preferred Eddie's later stuff, sort of thing. But I'll take him in general, because Eddie came in the Attitude Era, but
Latino,
he had a lot of problems around that time.
If you've mentioned that, I have to go back, because originally then my number 1 was going to be Benoit, and I pulled him
for his later stuff.
But do you remember SmackDown? I remember SmackDown for Eddie, man. Whenever you're talking about that time when he came in, like that's why
even the stuff with China. I love the stuff with China.
Yeah, the team mentioned SmackDown for me back then. What I remember was Eddie Guerrero.
Funny fucking shit.
I don't know. Have any of you ever seen this clip? You might remember it. Emmett is one of the only other people that remembers this clip. Where China's in the ring, and Eddie Guerrero's fucking about backstage saying he's not well, he's not coming to ringside and all. So she goes out and has the match. Then he appears on the fucking ramp with the duvet wrapped around him, like this.
Yeah,
he's walking down to the ring, and he's messed about hiding around.
Funny,
the ring. And then what he's doing is someone comes over the rope and he smacks him with the pipe, because he was doing that thing with the pipe for ages. Smack with the pipe. And then he's
used it in the roses and stuff.
Nal said there about his older stuff. He was completely against the lie, cheat, and steal gimmick.
Yeah,
because he didn't want it to be seen as portrayed as Mexican people. Yeah, exactly, stereotypes. But
that stuff he did with the chair and hitting the chair off the ground, throwing it to the other guy, collapsing.
Kurt Angle getting him in the ankle lock and him slipping the boot off and doing a small package.
That's how people he was doing that as a face.
No,
you know what I mean?
No
and he
one
was still over.
Like
he was a heel, but he was a face.
No one didn't love him. No one didn't love Eddie. Like, so
and that beating Brock Lesnar again. I know we're not really. This is outside the Attitude Era very much so. 2004, yeah, when he beat Lesnar. Yeah,
no way
Goldberg might have came in and speared Brock Lesnar, but Eddie got the frog splash in.
So now drum roll, if we'll add it.
So number 1, it's gonna be The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock's out there. Like, you mean, like
do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
The Rock would have stayed on. Like, The Rock officially retired. The Rock officially retired full time, I think, 2003, and then just came back for a couple of matches here and there.
Yeah.
But I say if he would have stayed on full time for another 3-4 years, he would have been bigger than Austin.
I believe.
in the
Yeah,
business.
I believe that.
Like I give it to Austin. That Austin is probably one of the big, most popular superstars of all time for what he did and how he did it.
Yep.
But if The Rock would have stayed on a wee bit longer, like 2000, the year The Rock took over when Austin was out injured, that was their most successful year, I think, and they haven't had another year like it.
Yeah.
So I take that as being if The Rock would have stayed on a few more years, he no doubt would have.
Yeah, it just showed you with his
Austin's-
absence, the show goes on, but it's because of The Rock being
No take to
the way he
Austin,
was.
yeah.
Like,
I disagree with that.
Me too, Sean.
That's
When you consider that Austin was the first one to go against the boss, and then The Rock became superly over whenever he started doing the same thing. I don't think you can ever take Stone Cold's place. But you're entitled to your opinion, even though it's wrong.
No. There's I wouldn't class The Rock ever really. When I think of The Rock, I don't think it was rivalry with Vince at all. I do understand when after Austin McMahon, everyone did the Authority rivalry. You know what I mean? It's been done
To
to death.
death.
They're still doing it
Flat
with
out.
the
Fucking
Authority.
death, man.
It's always been done, but it'll never replicate Austin McMahon, no doubt. But to me, Rock and Triple H, and Rock and
Yeah.
Austin is at hands down the best rivalry of all time. 3 matches at WrestleMania. Rock took 3 matches to beat him.
if he hadn't went to
to
the
me,
Allure
that
of
was a nice
Hollywood.
end out for Austin.
Yeah, if he
Austin's
hadn't went to the
awesome.
Allure of Hollywood, he would have reached Austin levels of heat. Well, lads, that covers our personal picks.
One last wee thing. I will give it to you. The Rock's better at movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here before we wrap up,
He's no Thunderlips, John. He's no
Well, I do like
Thunderlips.
Austin and Expendables. Though. I like that.
Still good, like.
is it
Sorry.
possible to throw? If anyone's got a couple of
It's all right
anything
there,
want
Dak,
to throw
so
in the
throw
attitude,
away.
guys, I want to throw in for people listening. The reason why I picked Stone Cold in that second spot strongly was I want you guys to check out on YouTube Stone Cold Steve Austin's interview with Vince on Raw, with Bret Hart on the Titantron. So go into YouTube and type Stone Cold after WrestleMania 13 for a really fucking good. A good example
Is
of
this
why.
the Shitman promo?
No, but
No.
check it out if you want to. I just want to throw that one in as like
Yeah.
fucking. If I think of the attitude there, Stone Cold in the ring, talking shit about someone, happens to be Bret Hart, and he just nails it. Like.
That's like there was very little. I think we all agreed that Stone Cold, apart from Niall, because as John said, he's a hipster. Listen, guys, that wraps up the first of the series of Attitude Era podcasts that we're going to be doing, folks. This isn't just a one-off. You know, it's the Attitude Era. There's a whole lot of things. We just scratched the surface of what we grew up with and what we love. But we'll be doing ones featuring the Ruthless Aggression Era. Like you said, when you saw Eddie, when you saw Chris, when you saw the likes of John, Batista, Devon, all them coming, you know, you'll see a lot change in the Ruthless Aggression. And I liked it. I still watched it during the Ruthless Aggression Era, but that's for another time and another day. Again, Declan, thank you very much. I look forward to the next play-by-play video from yourself. Connor, as always, you're the man who hosts in the Redacre studio. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
John, again, actually, folks, we didn't get to actually touch on it, but we have a collection of figures from different series of the WWF/E time. I've got China, I've got Show. Is that
So
Farouk?
WWF, my son.
Is that Farouk? I can see. But again,
Correction.
we'll get into that there, folks. Again, thanks very much for joining us on the first of our Attitude Era podcast. Lads, any wee quick notes you want to get in before we say
Like,
goodnight?
subscribe, follow, and if you ain't done with that, we got 2 words for you.
Subscribe.
And you could
again,
check out my
folks,
art at Messy Doodle
Yeah,
on
that's
Instagram. Hashtag Messy Doodle.
Niall
Check out
Connell,
art.
very talented young artist, and he is.
Check it out.
He's been contributing all evening from other people's notes.
I've been holding this plug all night.
So, well, you've been holding John's notes all nights as well.
No,
Well,
Check out my art, motherfucker.
cheers, Niall. Yeah, so guys, Messy Doodle. You'll find him on
you can
Instagram.
You can
and-
follow Decky at Declan McGuire89 on Instagram. Follow.
Yeah.
me
And
for
again,
more.
you'll see things that you'll know. We put up photos on Facebook and stuff, but the Instagram, we'll have some behind the scenes stuff, so you can see how all this is put together. I'd also like to thank the guys at End for Nerds, Marty
Yes.
McCabe, Jared Candy, because they're our home.
lads.
They host us, and if you go onto Facebook and search under End for Nerds, you'll see a link to our podcast on their website. Also, our page on Facebook is Redacre Productions. So Red Space Acre Space Productions. Again, folks, we have so many different wrestling. We've current news, we've got vintage wrestling stuff. John is always bringing us down different games and figurines and all. like I said, we're more than just obviously top threes and lists.
That's going to have to be a separate one completely.
Oh,
for
there'll be a load of stuff coming up for the Attitude Era. We'll do the Ruthless Aggression Era. We'll do the new sort of era, the new breed.
Reality era.
And then here we'll be going back to the 80s, lads, because I really want to revisit Hogan
WCW
and Steamboat.
Yeah,
I had also, we will be covering the Monday Night Wars. You'll be spoilt for choice, folks. But again, also we'd like to give a special shout out to Jenny Jo Irvine. You can find her on Instagram and sitting in the room with us, having listened to us discuss wrestlers. But she said that if she could pick her top wrestler, it would be Head.
be Connor.
Because just like her, Head can give it. But she said Undertaker overrated, to be quite honest. And we also have Pippa Hunter's Moon Sturt is sitting here as well, and they've been very patient while we've been discussing the Attitude Era. But folks, again,
The lovely Philippa.
and also we'd like to thank N for Nerds. Please do check them out. Check us out, Redacre Productions on Facebook. Like, comment, share, and like I said, it's all welcome. So till we meet again.
Cheerio.
Thanks, guys.
JJ.